Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice
Good morning.
Good morning.
morning. There we go. Well, I'm letting people, can
Where?
everyone head over to the chat, please?
Okay, don't forget your
Get
phone.
that taken care of. All right. Good morning. There we go. There's the chat. You can all give the chat a little hey ho, a little good morning. And it's connecting on my other computer that keeps crashing, so I don't know how much it's worth it, but now and then I get to show it to some students. All right. So let's go. Okay. All right. I have you guys in two computers. All right. Let's see who's here. Hi, Sue.
Hi.
Dee. Hi, Carol. Let me see. Mason and Diane and Rodney. Hi, Linda. Nice to
Hi.
meet you. Carol, the other Carol. My Carols are here. Patricia and me. And there's a Zoom user who's here twice that I need to name them. Sue, do you have two computers up?
I do.
All right, so the other Zoom is you. Let me go to Sue Word number 2. There we go. All right, welcome, welcome. I found my tea container. Mm.
Ow.
Ow,
Ow. Oh.
ow. I was so happy showing you I had my tea container back. I forgot how good it is and how well it keeps the heat. Ouch. That hurt. I'm opening it. I really wanted a lot of tea right now.
Ah.
Oh well, ow, that was painful. Anyway, so much
Your
for
mouth starts peeling, you'll know it.
Ooh. Anyway, yeah, that was intense. Anyway, so welcome back. Let me put you guys up on this computer.
By the
And
way, City College is a mess to register this morning.
oh no.
Yep, I've been trying since 8 o'clock and they've sent notices out saying banner is down, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, on the first day of registration.
And these are just the free classes. I mean, what happens when they do the fee base on Thursday?
Oh man.
So
Well, fee-based are much fewer. There's much more of the free than the fee-based. So,
it's a
uh,
mess.
oh my God. I did not want to hear that, but don't let that dissuade you from trying to register. It's no matter how much they always talk about improving the system, if they do, they keep changing it, whatever, but it's impossible. In fact, when I was in Spain this summer, I stayed for a while with a friend whose job it is to handle these kind of systems for universities and schools. She does it for like many different countries, not our system, but she that's her job is to be the person who creates the systems, actually, not like she's not tech support. She's the one who makes the software for Banner, for example, all these systems, and she goes around the world like training them and stuff. And she says that basically like no matter what system you try, they're all a mess, right? That people have there's like come registration day, everyone's everywhere, but some are particularly worse than other. I was telling her ours is horrible. She said, "Yeah, I know," because her mom lives here in Santa Barbara, so she's like, I know." That was one of the ones that's really really bad. But no matter what you switch to, anyway, she made me feel that it wasn't just necessarily a city college problem, even though feel it is anyway. Okay, so a couple more people showed up. Hi, Georgia. Hi, Bob. And all right, let me see. I think that's it. Everyone go to the chat, please. And if you haven't yet, I'm going to say it again. Good morning. There where you see me saying good morning, if you see a little good morning popping in, then please everyone give me a little good morning back or whatever you feel like saying. Maybe it's not a good morning for you. Don't need to say good morning. You might be having not a good morning. Anyway, yeah, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna share my screen. Before I share my screen, any questions based on everything that we've been talking about? And I have been including in the email that has the links. I have been including always the recording of how to get to the class handouts. I started doing that a bit at the end of last session, and now I pasted it onto all my classes. So if you ever wonder, oh, I don't know how to get to her handouts, just go to the email that I send you twice a week that says this is the link, because at the bottom now I'm pasting a link that says if you need to get to the class recordings, watch this video. And it reminds you how to do it, right? So that people don't have access to that to know how to get to the recordings all the time. Now, remember that the recordings aren't just about the recordings. They're also about the fact that you get the handouts and you get the, oh, I'm not getting, something weird is happening on my computer. I'm not able to get this. Double click. Huh. I'm going to restart my Safari. It's not opening my handouts.
That's City College, right? The Safari, because it kept saying to me, Safari can't open. I mean, this is City College, not you.
Yeah. I managed to open it though. That was weird, but it's not opening the Mac one. Let me see. I opened a different one to just see if it's the one that the Mac one that's not opening. No, there it opened. Okay. So I was just wanted to remind you. Okay, I will share my screen now. That this is the oh, I need to put you guys up in this computer again. Trying to keep you guys on a separate computer so I have more space to share here. Okay. So that I want to remind you that these are the class recordings and these are the survey, this not the survey, sorry, the class descriptions. And the reason I keep insisting on this class descriptions, but it takes a while for me to do them. If no one uses them, what's the point? But mainly it's like these points here just remind you what we've been doing and what I want you guys to keep practicing. And especially when it's Thursday to Tuesday, it turned out that I hadn't put these recordings up. I hadn't put these two links up. I had done them, but I guess, someone texted me that they wanted to catch up and that they didn't see them. And that was not texted me. Sorry, I don't text with, emailed me. And he emailed me yesterday. And so I went ahead and fixed it. I put the links up, but that means someone else, well, that means basically no one here tried to watch the recordings uh or this, or that if you saw that it wasn't here, you just kind of backed off and did nothing. But basically yesterday someone told me that these weren't up. So that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So you guys, basically it tells me that either you didn't say anything or you just didn't go, which is fine. And you don't have to go if you remember everything that happened in the class, but I'm just reminding you that,
Actually, I did July 1st over again.
okay. Oh, so you went and you didn't see it, so you did that one again. Perfect. Okay. Next time, if you ever see that things are missing by the day after the class, just send me a little, hey, I don't see the links. And, I'm human. I have 6 classes going, and every now and then I transpose. I had put the links for this class in the Photoshop handout. So they were there. They were in the wrong one. So just let me know, and then I check and I go, and I go, come over. Okay. So that's just a request for me to help me, but also for you guys to have the handouts when you need them. So anyway, we were talking about good morning, Justine. I hope
Hi.
your voice is better. Oh, it does sound much
It's
better.
it's a little better. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit more of the upper range. I'm not just down in the low here.
Oh, by the way, Justine is an amazing singer, so yeah, having bronchitis is even worse when
Aw.
you
When my
do.
voice was like that, I could sing a really good Johnny Cash.
Oh, that's
Way
true.
down here.
That's
Walk the line. Yep.
I know it is fun sometimes to have that deep, deep voice, right? And that doesn't come otherwise. All right. Anyway, so we were talking about the dock, about taking icons off the dock and on the dock. And does that get rid of the apps itself, you guys?
No.
No, it just cleans it up. So
Mhm.
not have extra stuff. So if you do need to open an application that's on your dock, if you used it recently, then you'll find it right here in between these two lines. And that's what we're beginning to talk about. What are these lines in the dock? And this just means that you've used it recently. So it looks like I've used Acrobat and QuickTime and Excel, which I'm still using because I'm using Excel all the time. In fact, let me quit it right now. And you'll see that even if I quit it, it won't go away.
I don't
It's,
see it on my screen.
oh, I wasn't sharing the entire screen. Sorry.
There we are.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for immediately letting me know. Okay, thank you. So here I had a black dot a second ago when I gave this demo that I wasn't showing,
Mhm.
and then I just quit it, but it's still here. What does this mean? It means that it's an app that I just used that doesn't sit on my regular dock. And yeah, if I look for Excel all over the place, I don't have it. So it sits here. But the QuickTime Player, whenever I download the videos, I check that they're running. It's here, and then
Oops.
Uh,
Your voice just went away.
yeah.
She's frozen.
used
Oh,
further time ago. So say that I want
yeah.
to open an app that's not on my dock right now. If it's not on my dock, where should I go open it from?
Hey, Deanna, we lost you for a little bit there. You were frozen. So we weren't hearing what you were saying for about a minute there.
Yeah, and for about a second, I saw a little sign that came up that said that your connection is unstable. So I'm looking at my connection. It says I have 4 lines. Okay, thanks for telling me. So what I was saying is that these 3 that are here are a list of the last 3 apps that I used that are not on my dock. So if it's in my dock and I used it, say I open Notes, right? And then it's there, it's on, and then I quit it. That's it. It was already there, so there's no need to show itself here. But if I open an app that's not here, it will show itself here until it gets kicked out by the 4th one that's not here that I open. So I'm going to go to the Finder window. So this is all review. So if I want to open an app that I don't have, so you guys go do that on my dock, I would go to my applications folder, which I will find by opening a Finder window. Okay, so I'm going to go do that by clicking on this Finder icon. And when it opens up, I go find my applications icon. And then I'm going to open something that I don't have, like, for example, the dictionary app. Did you know that the computer comes with a dictionary app? So I'm going to double click on the dictionary app, and there it is. It popped up in here. It's kicked out it kicked out Excel because that's the one that I was using furthest ago. Okay? Now, if I quit, who remembers the shortcuts for quitting a program?
Command Q, is it?
Command Q. And when I mean shortcuts, I mean the keyboard. And how do I find those shortcuts? If I go up to the Apple and see the name of my app, meaning this is the app that's the active or foreground one. If I click and go down to where the quit dictionary function would be, there's my shortcut, Command Q. So if I don't want to have to go all the way there and all the way there, I can just sit here and click the Command key and then tap, keep it held down and then tap the Q and boom, Command Q, and the dictionary closed up. And yet it sits there waiting. And the next time I open something that's not here, the QuickTime player will be kicked out. And the next time the Acrobat will be kicked out. And fourth, the dictionary will be kicked out. Does that make sense? So now, what if I do that? Say that I open, I don't know, font book here, and I double click on that. Here it is, QuickTime player got kicked out. Now, what if I want, and I quit that one again? So Command Q, and I quit. So there you go. So these are always cycling through until I go, you know, I use this one a lot. I use a dictionary all the time. I want to put it on my dock permanently. Since I've already opened it, it's very easy to click and drag it and just drag it on the other side of that little line. Boom.
Mm.
That's it. Now it's a permanent one. And if I go, no, I don't really want it. I can just drag it out. Or I can go to click options, remove from dock. But now I've only got two. Why? Because I dragged one over. Not that it's ever at 2. It's always at 3 if you have 3 that you haven't used. Does that make sense, you guys?
Mhm.
If I open one more that's never there, and I'm going to do that one free. Oh no, that one was in my dock. So I'm going to right click and get rid of it. One more that's on my dock. Let me go back to the chess game, double click on chess. There it is. Now the third spot got filled out. Okay. So now I'm going to quit this one. And now I've got 3 again. Okay. All right. So that's how the dot works. And then over here, if I don't want something, like you just saw me do, I either drag it out until it says remove right there. So like 2 inches, 1.5 inches out, or I right click, options, remove from dock. Okay. All right. And then these 3 that are temporary, I could right click, options, keep in dock.
Mm.
And it jumped itself over to this side. See if you don't like dragging. Okay, so I just dragged it over. Okay, and now I'm going to remove it. Okay, so that's a lot of what we did last time. We also talked about what do you do when you have a ton of apps open. And we had a couple of options, which was either the stage manager if you want to use one at a time, which doesn't work, for example, when you have to do this class because you need to see both Zoom and maybe the system settings at the same time, and you would only be able to see one or the other, and then you can't see me demoing. But if you're not during the class and you want to see both, then that's a solution. Okay. So who took some stuff off their dock in the cleanup phase? Who's not a hoarder and did some cleanup? No one took anything off? All right, remember you can do that. And that if you say never watch Apple TV, you can just drag it off. If Apple TV is your thing, leave it in the middle, right? And then there's things that you don't know here, what they are. So we will be learning about this set right here on the left side. We'll be learning during the SES, the next few classes. But there's some over here that if you never use and you never need them, you can either start trying them or you can just drag them off. Okay. So if you hover over this and you go, I don't use music, it's not something I do on my computer, just drag it off or right click, options, remove from dock, and then clean it up a little bit. You don't need 2,500 things in here. I keep all the ones that come with a computer, which are up to here, and then I add these, which are my Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, Rich, because I teach them all week long. And I used to teach from a different computer, but now that I teach from here, I've kept them here. So I have these that are extra. Okay. And then what's this one? Well,
Hmm.
right now I have my phone connected to my computer and this app, iPhone mirroring, and I was wondering if we could have you guys maybe use that to whenever you need to share your screen with me. I'm not sure. but this is basically my phone. Which not through Zoom, but through an app. And so it's connecting, but I'm connected with by cable to my phone. And when you do that, your phone should show up in here. So now I'm going to turn off my phone and uh-oh. It was showing me, I don't know if it's doing, it was showing me my phone right here. So let me see. There it is.
Mm.
So basically, I am showing my phone to you guys, but now I'm not sharing my phone. I'm just seeing my phone that is sitting turned off. See, it's turned off right here next to my computer, and it's showing up here. And I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna test it a little bit more, but this might be a way whenever you guys want to teach me, show me something on your phone that has been really hard because you can't share it. See, I can open. This is my settings on my phone. Isn't that cool? And I've never been able to show the settings on the phone at the same time as the settings on the computer, right? So here's my settings on the computer. Here's my settings on the phone. And so this is pretty, I'm gonna hide the rest. This is kind of cool for me to think that I can show you both of these and that when I say, okay, let's go to general on the phone and let's go to storage on, sorry, on the computer, I can show you guys going to general on the phone also, and then going to iPhone storage. And then you can see that this is my computer phone storage and this is my computer. I don't know if it'll be more confusing or if it'll be useful. We'll see. But usually I had to stop one share to show the other. Anyway, so this iPhone mirroring is an app that came with the computer, but I'm not sure. I'm going to test now with you guys. We're going to go find and see if your computers have it as an app that comes in there, if it's something that we need to download. So I'm going to open a Finder window. So now I have all these windows open. So I'm going to share only one, which is just my Finder window. So everyone open your Finder window. Then scroll to the I for iPhone to see if you have something called the iPhone mirroring app. I do not know if it's something that in the updates is coming with the computer. I don't remember if I downloaded it or if it came with a latest update.
It's not on mine.
Now, wait a minute.
Well, you don't have an iPhone, Julie, so maybe it's because of that, or maybe it's because it doesn't come. So someone other than Julie.
I've got it.
Okay, who spoke?
Carol.
Carol, and you just
Updated.
updated your, so that must have come with the latest with Sequoia. Okay. Oh, and Julie, you have Ventura. So
Right.
anyone who has Sequoia, can you see if you have iPhone mirroring? So again, how am I doing this? Let me just share my entire window again, and I'm going to minimize the other stuff. So it's a bit harder to get in the way. Okay, I'm going to share again. So I went up to the applications window. So this is a perfect example of finding something that is not on the dock. So I went to the applications window and I'm viewing it as a list. If you're viewing it as icons, for example, right? You might be seeing it this way.
I
It looks
have it. I
like-
have it.
No, wait.
okay.
You said
So-
applications window.
Well,
Who's
Do you
this
mean do you mean the little, oh, okay, all right. Back up.
applications window, meaning
Fine.
I'm clicking on a Finder window and then I'm choosing applications. So it lets me see into my computer. So I always think of Windows, imagine if the computer is like this, it's like a boarded up house for the summer, vacation homes that you can't see anything inside and you're like, I want to see what's in there. So you have to open a window and look and you can peer inside and here you see, oh, there's the room, there's my kitchen, there's my bathroom, you're opening a window and peering in to see what the stuff is. So I'm going to my applications and I'm looking for the different applications I have. And if you have them by alphabetical order, it's easy to find. If you don't have them in alphabetical order, we're talking about that anyway. So here's the iPhone mirroring. So give me a yes, those of you who found it. And I have a feeling it'll probably be related to people who have Sequoia and Sequoia, maybe even some of the latest versions. I don't know. Okay, I'm seeing enough yeses. Patricia, you don't have Sequoia, do you?
No, I don't. I have Ventura.
Ventura, same with Julie. Okay, so it's a Sequoia thing. I no one here's in Sonoma, which is in between, like Ventura. After Ventura came Sonoma, then Sequoia. And here everyone is either in Ventura or in Sequoia or in Monterey, which for sure doesn't have it for Carol Gear. So, okay, so those of you who have not found it, but you have Sequoia, and Sequoia, remember, was the newest operating system. Let me know. I think Kate, you have an older operating system too, wasn't it? I'm trying to remember. Kate, I don't remember what operating system you have. Hi Kate. You're muted. I-
I have it. I have Sequoia.
You have Sequoia. Okay, so give me a yes. All right. And Sue, as in the other computer, Mason said yes. All right. Justine, are you up in Sequoia? I'm not sure if Justine has Sequoia. I think you do have Sequoia. Remind me. All right. And then, okay. So if you have a chance, maybe not right now, but over break or something, and go find a cable, right? And I'm not gonna make it a thing for class yet because, not everyone has Sequoia, but I want to see how easy or not it is for you guys. So we'll do it after break. So during break, go find a cable and connect your phone to your computer. And later, after break, as I said, we'll just test to see if it is simple or not to get you guys to connect your screen to your phone so that when I need to see things on your phone, I have stuff. Now, notice that I have 2 messages saying that my software update tonight, and when I click on it, it's warning me that there's a software went straight all the way to the updates. 18.5 has been downloaded, okay? And it says it will be installed when the iPhone is locked and it has enough battery to update. I could say update right now, which I'm not, or I could just cancel, say no, never update. But right now, until I update, it's going to keep saying that there's an update available, that little one there. So what is that little one? That little one is a notification. And it's also called a badge. Okay, so these little red dots, that means there's one update, not 2 or 3. There's one. And there's one note here. And remember, I don't know if you remember, but I had told you that this is the phone wanted me to set up my Apple Pay. And that's going to stay there because I'm not setting it up because it's not really a phone that I use. So do you see little red badges anywhere else on this computer? And do you see any on yours? So this little badge or number 1, I go down here to my dock and I see one right there. Looks like I have 2 FaceTime requests. Looks like I have 10 reminders and I have 2 messages. So that is a badge and it's notifying me that I have 2 messages that I haven't viewed. And I have 2 FaceTime requests probably and 10 reminders that are coming due. Now I haven't yet taught you how to use a lot of these apps, but I want to know, I'm going to clear your answers, who has notifications or badges with numbers across their dock. Meanwhile, yeah, you guys have been patiently, you had your hand up, and I'm trying to remember. Diane, what's your question? You're muted. You're muted. I see your mouse moving. Diane, you're still muted and I don't know.
Oh, I'm back.
Mm.
Okay, I really appreciated the fact that my kids were always saying, gee, you have so many tabs open. I went, and I assumed that was the same thing as the app. So anyway, I understand that part. But my question is, how many apps do you think you should have open? Like 3?
Oh, that depends completely on your computer. Like
I have plenty of memory.
if you have, so when you say memory, what do you mean? Which one is the memory as far as you're concerned? RAM?
Yes.
Okay, so what's your RAM number? And guys, how we find this out, go to General, go to About, or you can also go to About This Mac up here in the Finder. That's how I've taken people there forever, to this tiny little thing. And over here, you can find it going to General, About, and then here you find even more information, but it's the same stuff. It's MacBook Pro, 16-inch, but here you have more numbers. Okay, so General and About, and this is the one that's memory, and it's what we call RAM memory, and I have 16 gigabytes on this computer. What number do you guys see there? And go ahead and put it in the chat. So I'm gonna go to the chat and I'm gonna write that I have 16 GB. Okay.
Can you explain how to do that again?
Ooh, Carol, I see that you got an iPhone 16. Woohoo. Nice. Yeah, sorry, I'm just noticing, and the notes are coming in, not the notes, the chat. Okay. So you go to the system settings, General, About. System settings, General, About.
Mhm.
So I'm seeing 16, 16, 16, 8, 8, 8, 16, 8, 16, 8. Okay, that sounds about right. Now, if I were to share my old computer with you guys, I actually have 32 on that one. And some of my people who take my Photoshop classes and stuff like that, they have more. How about you, Patricia, since you were one of the ones who was having issues with your application?
I have 8, Diana, and I haven't updated my Mac, or the Photoshop I updated to 25 and it's very, very slow. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have.
You can
done it.
you can go.
Oh, can I go down? Oh, good news. Thank you.
Yeah, you can.
All
This
right.
a Photoshop Adobe conversation that I have with her, but yeah, you can downgrade to have
To 24.
to
Yeah.
2024. Anyway,
Yeah. Thank
Photoshop,
you. Thank you so
so
much.
anyone who uses Photoshop needs to have 32 as a minimum at this point. So if you're, but here's the good and bad news. You can't change this number. So the only people who could change this number, and I'm talking about my iMac, the other one, my old one. Let me stop my share for a minute. My old one, it's an iMac 2015. And that's the last computer. We're talking 10 years ago. Okay, we're in 2025. 10 years ago, that's the last iMac that was able to have any upgrades done to it, to the memory. And laptops, you haven't been able to upgrade their memory since like 2013, I think was the last one you can upgrade. Ever since, any computer that you buy, other than the highly professional ones that cost, you know, $5,000-$6,000 to even look at them, ever since, oh, there we go. My other computer in the Monterey is crashing. It's, yeah, I need to I knew that since I went away, but I didn't have time, and now I have to reset that whole computer, but I haven't had a chance to do it yet. I'm still trying to revive my house from having 2 months of teenagers in the house.
Mhm.
Great kids as they are, so they're not like I was worried about partying or stuff, but just God's grime that accumulated. Scary. And the garden, and they kept the chickens, they kept the garden alive. I can say that, but it's
You probably
Yeah.
need to get in a professional cleaning crew.
yeah. I know. Anyway, I'm the cleaning crew. See these hands? They are like crammed from scrubbing. Anyway,
Oh,
I have no nails. My like when I'm
and
scrubbing
teaching.
and teaching. So yeah, my weekends are not like, hey ho, let's go have fun. It's I've had enough fun, like go clean. Anyway, the thing is that I need to reinstall my software on that computer to get it to work. But that one has 32 gigabytes because it originally had 8, I believe. And then as I needed more, and it's a 2015, but one of the things I could do is give it more memory. You cannot do that to the computers anymore. So now, if you ever are going to buy a computer, I just saw Carol saying that she's about to buy a new computer. Or you said it's coming, so hopefully, or you did. Okay, so that number. I'm saying Kate and Rodney just said 24.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is something that you should pay for upfront. Like if you're wondering, what should I add to my computer? Well, if you want it to extend its life, which was I was able to do for my 2015, is to have more RAM, more memory. Okay, so if you're like, well, should I spend, more on this to make it this color? Should I spend more on this to get more memory? Definitely memory. Okay, so whatever choices. And why? Because it's what allows your computer to handle more apps at a time. And this is a long way around to answering Sue's question, Diane's question as to how many apps should I have should I have going at a time. And let me see, Diane, what was your answer? 16. Okay, so if it's newish, right? And you have 16 gigabytes, and it's not like Adobe or Photoshop, Illustrator, any of those, then with 16, you should be able to run quite a few apps at the same time. When I say quite a few apps, how many do you need? If you need 4, 4. If you need 7, 7. If you need 10, well, we're pushing it here, right? Random access memory, RAM memory, is random access means it can go ahead and run more apps at the same time. It doesn't make your computer faster to have 16 than 8 or than 32 per se. But if you have 8 versus 16 or 32, you might, when you have 5 apps running, the one with 8 is slowing down because it has a harder time switching to make them work, and it has to keep them alive in the background versus the one that has 16 or the one has 32. Okay. And for any of you guys who are considering any Adobe programs, Patricia included, and I'm not sure there's anyone else in here today. I know there's a couple of other students who take these classes now and then, but they're not here. You definitely, 32 is the minimum you should buy on a new computer because you're going to want to have it for 5, 6 years, however long you want your next computer. And those applications are using, and everyone's applications, by the way, are using artificial intelligence like crazy now, even the Mac, and I'm going to be showing you some of that stuff. And it needs RAM. So yeah, just consider spending money on RAM. And as you can see, they mostly double up. It used to be that people had 4, 2, then 4, then 8, 16, 32, but then Kate and Rodney just said 24. So you could sometimes upgrade halfway to get a little bit middle. I don't think, how old is your computer, Kate or Rodney? What's the date on your computer? What model is it?
Mine, I got it in the summer. I'm not sure. Let's see.
Oh, okay, so it's pretty new. So it's weird to have it.
It's pretty new, yeah.
Okay.
It's got 24 gigabytes serial number, Sequoia 15.5.
Okay, so that's
Yeah,
interesting
well,
that they make them with 24. All right.
Yeah, M3 2024.
I guess they didn't want to, it's entry level compute. They didn't want the minimum. They added just a bit more because usually they doubled up, but there is a chance to go half, which is what seems that they did here. So that's interesting. Okay. So anyway, so Kate and Rodney might have a computer from the same year as someone who has 16 gigabytes. But okay, so Kate has a 2024 and Rodney's must be
2024.
yeah. Because when you buy a computer, many times it's from the year before, even though you just took it off the shelf. Just,
Right.
and yeah, it's interesting to know that they're putting in 24 megabytes. So see, I learned from you guys as it's an in between. It doesn't go from 16 to 32, that they found something between for an Air. So that's good. Now see, a 2024 MacBook Air is the smallest and most, if you want, affordable of the laptops. And even then, if you buy a 2024, they've already stacking it with 24 gigs. Like they know if you're going to use it for many years, you're going to need more. So at this point, anyone who has an 8 gigabyte shouldn't be opening many apps at the same time. because it'll be groaning. Now you get to a point you can't upgrade anymore, like Carol Gear, like me with the Monterey, and it's fine because 8 gigabytes with Monterey still made sense. But as soon as we start going into Ventura, Sonoma, and Sequoia, it needs more computer resources, including memory is one of the things that we talk about when we talk about computer resources. Okay. All right. Cool. Let's go ahead and
Diana?
answer some questions. Oh, yeah, there's a couple hands up, but sure, go for it. You were talking to me. What's up? Rodney?
Yeah. I let my IT guy decide what I should get, and he's the one that told me the 24, and that was last summer. So
That's good.
he could have suggested, I mean, he's,
He could have suggested less and be glad that he suggested more. Because, as I said, if you're going to invest on a computer that's unchangeable, whatever you buy has to
yeah, I
be.
didn't know that even. Yeah.
Then as the years go by, you'll still be having enough to run all the stuff that's happening now in the world of computers. And at some point, it'll get old and it'll slow down.
Yeah.
It'll be equivalent to one of the 8s now, and that's fine. Then you choose whether you need to keep moving up or not. Sue, yes.
I have an Air and a Mac Air.
Yeah.
And in order to attach my phone to my Mac Air, it's got to have a cord it's not a normal cord. It's got to have two funny, the phone has the regular one, but to get into my computer,
Yeah. Well, here's what you're talking about. And by the way, it's not that the phone has a regular one. What phone do you have?
SE.
Okay. So I don't know. It's true, and it's a relatively new one, but I don't know if the SE has the new connections or not. But here's let me just find a cable that I can show you without. Oh, and I found a handout the other day of phone. Here we go. Connectors. So this here, I won't be able to. You know what? Here, instead of doing this silly thing, let me go online and find a sample of okay, so I'm going to show you some USB ports images. So okay, so here we go. Let's see if this works. It's not the best, but here we go. Can you guys see this? So, yeah, you can't see the tip of it, but anyway, this here, and let me see if I have this here, USB-C, okay, USB-C. That is what all new phones have, except for, I don't know, the SE, because it replicates the old the old 6. But this one, which is different than the lightning, so of all things, this one's not showing the lightning connector. This is what your Macs have now. All your Macs have this, and it's a USB-C. Okay. So just so you know, if you have a computer that's, God, when did they stop making the other connection? I'd say 4 years ago, even.
My computer?
No, I'm just saying, for about 4 or 5 years ago now, they stopped making on computers a connection other than this one. Before, and many other devices still have this one, which is the USB, which is the square one. So when you say normal, does your computer, most people refer to this as normal, and then this as the new one. But here's the problem. The older iPhones don't have one or the other. As of iPhone 15, okay, the iPhone 15 comes with this now. But 14 and older have a lightning cord. And let me show you what that is. So you write down the word USB-C, you guys. Okay. Let me actually clear my drawings. And let's say iPhone lightning cable port photo, I guess. I'm trying to find, here it is. So who recognizes this stuff here? This is what our phones have had
Yeah.
forever.
It's like a solid end.
Yeah.
And
like And that is the lightning connector. So write that down. If your phone is older than 14, it has a lightning connector. You can't plug this into the computer. You plug this side into the phone. Okay.
yeah,
Oh, here we go. Now, perfect. Here's an example. Let me see if I can go get this photo to get it bigger. It's I can't get it big enough for you guys to see it. Let me see if I can visit this photo. Here it is. Okay, here's the photo. So this is what computers have had, iPhones have had for eons and eons. And they switched to this on the iPhone 15. Now this is a lightning and this is a USB-C. In fact, here it is, USB-C and lightning cable. So what happens is everyone who buys a new computer, sorry, a new phone will have this one. So you'll dump all of those cables and you'll have this one, and you're gonna have to start buying this.
Which one? You keep on switching around with your, that,
This is the new one.
okay.
This is the USB-C. And this is what you have on your laptop. You need to plug in. So it turns out that life is much easier now. Like in my iPhone 15, all my cables end with this, my computer ends with this, my phone ends with this, everything I buy ends with that. The USB-C is universal. The Androids, so it was Europe sued Apple for having different cables than everyone else, and they made them change. So they did. And so now all the new stuff comes with this. But if you have an old phone and a new computer, you need to get an adapter. Okay? Because most people's end connections were a different kind. So let me see if I can find the different here.
mine is the other way around. I have a 2020 iMac and an iPhone 16.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a charger that I use for the phone. Can I use that cable
So I'm gonna go to
on the
like
back of my 2020
for a minute here. Hold on. This is what you need to buy.
computer?
Okay.
Okay.
USB-C to USB adapter. So basically you need to buy something like this, okay, or like that. And I have a ton of those hanging around here, which is basically, this is the old USB. How many people recognize this little square ending?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, that little square ending doesn't fit into Macs anymore for many, many years. Okay, so for many, many years, they've been using this one, which is the USB-C. So this is a USB, this is USB-C. It's like, come on, guys, yeah. Yeah. Corners, think about it. USB was the old one, and then USB-C, like the curvy one. The one that's just like one long elongated curve, that's the new one, USB-C for curve. So that is an adapter from the old kind to the new kind. See how on this side it's kind of this round, long oval, and on the other side it's square. So you plug in one or the other. Now we need the opposite of that. We need this. So if you have a Mac, you need this right now because this goes into your Mac and that goes into the square end of the cable that you have now. Does that make sense? So you need a USB-C to USB adapter. As you can see, they're cheap. Okay, and I have them right now connected to my stuff. If I could show you, I have like 3 connected to my computer right now. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to, well, there we go. So on one side, you're going to put your square plug, and then you're going to plug this into the computer to put in that phone. Does that make sense? So basically, write down adapter from USB-C to USB. Male to female. Okay, USB-C male to USB 3.0 female. And it needs to look like
Go back. You went too fast.
USB-C to USB. Okay. USB-C to USB. So write that down. And it could be a little tiny tip like that. It could be a cable. It could be a whole thing like that, which is the same. Here goes the old one. Here goes the new one. It could be, there you go. Any of this. Okay. Or you could have a full-on connector if you plug in many things to your computer. As you can see, this is another thing that I have connected to my computer. You can put 3 of those in here, and that goes into your computer. Or you can have a multiple different kind of, and this is, I have one of these on my computer right now, which is basically an adapter hub, right? So this, oh, what happened to the photo here? That corner, that thing is what goes into the Macs now. And any computer, Mac, PC, any computer. And then you can plug in all your old versions of it, like all your old stuff can go in here. And so this converts them. And because most MacBook Airs, most computers have just 2 of these. So if you have 3 things you want to plug in, you can't. So by having one of these, which I have right here, sitting next to me, then you can plug in 3 or 4 different things at the same time into that one that's in your computer. Okay, so take a screenshot of this, or grab your phone and photograph this, or just write down. You want if you want a single USB-C adapter, or if you want a hub. So these are little one by one.
Hang on there. You can't take a picture while you're moving it around.
Okay, well, I thought you were done.
Go.
Just ask me to open it again.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay, so that's what you need in order to plug in your devices. Okay, can I take it off? Are you done? Are you done? Can I?
I'm done.
Okay, good. All right. So basically, if you were trying to connect, then there you go. And I had a good flyer that I found the other day on my other computer. I'll see if I put it in the handouts, the different connections and stuff. But yeah, so now the only thing that you can plug into a Mac is that one. And by the way, that's been for years for Windows PCs, for Androids, for the whole world of PC has been using that, the kind that now the Mac is using, okay? And the phones are using it, and everyone is using the same one. And ideally, what's going to happen is in the future, you're going to need one cable for all your devices instead of 25 versions. That's what they're trying to do by switching to USB-C, which is the new one, the long oval. Okay, Mei-san?
Yes, I tried to connect my phone to my book, the MacBook. I got an error message say unable to connect to iPhone, and asked me to try again. I keep trying, it doesn't work.
Through that little app, through the
Yeah.
iPhone Hearing app, and your phone is turned on
Yes, it's
and
on.
unlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about this app. It just started, so I wouldn't know how to troubleshoot it, what the error message is. Maybe it's the phone is too old, or the computer's too new, or the other way
No,
around.
I have the new phone, but it's just a message
Phone
say
and
you
the
can choose a different iPhone in desktop and dock. I don't know what's that mean.
Well, choose a different iPhone. I don't know, maybe you need to do a restart. I don't know how to troubleshoot this app. This is the first time I'm asking anyone to do it. So there you go. This is one of those things that I thought maybe we'd have an issue with. I don't know if you just plug it in and it doesn't work like it worked for me.
Mm,
then what do you need to do? I don't know, but I'm going to
okay.
look and I'm gonna write it's iPhone mirroring,
Mm,
iPhone mirroring app troubleshoot, right? Make
mm,
sure that they're near the I had to reset the mirroring app on my phone. Why is my screen mirror not working properly? So I went to the iPhone mirror settings, reset iPhone access, do the setup process again, and now it works. So I mean, there's like solutions, right? So I need to connect it. Anyway, so basically I need to figure it out. I'm going to look it up and see what the choices could be. But when it says go to the settings, it would mean go to the settings, right? Go for the apps. And so if you can go over here, you can search for iPhone.
don't see your screen.
Oh, okay. Let me share my entire screen. So if you've opened the app, right, which is this one,
From iPhone?
if you open the iPhone mirroring app, the one that's saying that you can't access or whatever,
Oh.
when you go to the Apple next to it, you will see the iPhone mirroring name as the app. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you click on that, go to the settings of that iPhone mirroring app. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing this, you guys, is not just for Mason who's dealing with this, but everyone, I want everyone to know that when you open an app, no matter what app, so again, I'm going to open Notes, for example, right? And remember that if I'm watching Notes as my main app, up here it'll say Notes. If I were to click on Notes, after the About Notes, I would see Notes Settings. So those are settings just about the Notes app. And when we get to Mac Level 2, that we'll be doing a lot of that. We'll be looking at that. So I'm at the calculator. Calculator, I guess, is the only thing. We'll go example that has no setting. Anyway, any of these apps, I'll open my calendar. I go calendar settings, right? Remember last week I mentioned how this here had the same words for many apps, but they showed different things.
Yeah.
So the settings are individual to each app. So if I go to the calendar settings, I can change things about my calendar. I'm going to quit the calendar. If I go to my Safari settings, I can change things about my Safari. So each setting for each app looks different, right? So if you have your iPhone mirroring app turned on and you go to iPhone mirroring settings, it's about your iPhone mirroring setting. So now you can go ahead and ask maybe see every time. I'm going to leave it on ask every time, but it's going to ask me on my phone and my computer to put in the password, or I can just connect it automatically. Which if I do that, then I won't be able to demo this to people. So I'm not going to, or I can say, no, don't let this phone look at my computer. Okay. See if there's anything there that can help you. Other than that, disconnect and start again. That's all I can think of. As I said, I'd have to read through all those. Maybe during break, I'll read through them. Remember that I said we would do this after break, and some of you guys are trying, but right now, only Sequoia people can do this. So Sequoia people give it a try, but I'm not going to use it in class yet because not everyone can do this yet. Yes, Patricia?
Diana, I was able to download app, the 2014 PES project, but then I found that I have 2 empty 4 GBs.
Okay. So you know what?
Yeah.
Let's talk about this Dream Breaker after. Oh, no, this is okay. So it's not about Photoshop, it's about your gigabytes. So you're
Gigabyte, yeah. And
maybe
I was able to open it and I say memory upgrade instruction. If
right. Hold on. What computer do you have? Is it an iMac?
No, it's let me see.
What year is it? What does it say?
It's
So here's what's up, guys. As I said, older computers allowed you to upgrade your gigabytes. Okay. So that's what she's telling me right now. When she went to memory, when you're able to see an option to upgrade, which I can't, she can. So maybe Carol Gear, maybe other people can who have these older computers. You can go over here, and if you have 4 gigabytes empty, what it's telling you is you can buy 4 more gigabytes worth of memory. From 8 plus 4 would be 12. That'll help. It certainly won't make your computer go faster, but it might work enough, right? So what you need to do is go on Safari and put in the model of your computer and ask purchase 4 gigabytes of memory and see if it costs you 20 bucks, go. If it costs you 200 bucks, don't bother. You know what I mean? I don't know right now. What I know that I put in 16 gigabytes on my old computer a year or 2 years ago, and it was like $90, but it like gave me a computer for 2 more years, but it was 16 gigabytes. That's all that your computer can handle is 4, then yeah, maybe it's not worth it. So
Diana is
or you
eight
can,
more.
maybe you can change it to 8. Like you can change them all if you have 2 4s. So
Uh-huh,
let me
have to force.
explain. There's slots in your computer. In the past,
Uh-huh.
when you can change them, there's slots. So if you had 2 4s for 8, you can switch them both and put 2 8s and get 16, or put 2 16s and get 32, which is what I did to mine, and it cost me about $90. And that might give you 32, and that might give your computer 2 more years of life for Photoshop and stuff. Okay. So I'll let you
Okay.
look into that. You basically have to take them both out and push them in, and you just open a little thing in the back. And well, but depending on your computer, if it's easy or not. It's easy. It was easy on an iMac. I don't know your computer. Look at the instructions and see if it sounds like it's easy to do. If you
Okay,
need to
thank
take
you, Diana.
tech support and take it to the Mac store and ask them how much it would cost, they'll do it for you, and it might be worth it to get your computer.
Okay, Diana, thank you, thank you.
Not to the not to the not to the not to the Mac Apple store, but to the Mac
The
Mechanic.
mechanic, okay.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you guys don't know about the Mac Mechanic, and I believe I finally put it in my teaching calendar, Mac Mechanic. Yes. And I know I sound like I'm getting paid by them. I am not. Mac Mechanic is Mac Mechanic. They're on State Street, like up by I always say by Janine's, and then people can correct me, by the mail, by the post office on State Street by San Roque. Anyway, it's in that area.
It's by the Union Bank or whatever it's called now.
There's a bank there. Yeah. So write down this number. I'll put it over here. Mac, and I'll put it in the chat. Mac Mechanic. Mechanic. Anyway, they will work with your older computers. They're, in my opinion, and again, it's because people tell me, not because, I mean, I've used them only once. No, actually, at this point, I've used them twice in my life of owning Macs. But they're fair, they don't overcharge, and now they do visit you at home, and they are really helpful, and they work with your old computer. They don't like immediately tell you to buy a new computer, which is what you do if you go to the Apple store, right? They go, oh, they look at your old thing and go, here, buy this. Basically, they don't do that, but you know what I mean. But Mac Mechanic, everyone I've sent there, well, you guys, you come back and tell me, oh my God, I used them, they were so great. Like that's why I keep saying that and they're a local company owned, you know, they Berg owned owner worker, yada yada yada. Anyway,
And they'll answer questions over the phone. You know, if you have a question, they'll say, yeah, do try this, try that. And if they need to work with you on your computer, it's $80 for a half hour. And they will do it like what you do, share your screen, and they'll walk you through things.
there you go. Someone who knows more about it than me. Thank you, Julie.
They're wonderful. And they the other half of their store, actually, they do PCs.
Yes,
So
actually,
people
they've now, it's been a few years now. I saw once when I went in some years ago that they've, I guess, joined, yeah. Oh, here, I wasn't even sharing, was I? Yeah. They've joined with people who do PCs. And so, and I don't know if it's the same two companies put together or if they adopted Windows people who fix, but anyway. All right, Diane?
I have an iPhone 11. Is this the right connector?
Oh, there you go. So you have one of those, it looks like the one I have right here, okay?
Yeah.
This is like a long oval kind of like a like a little oval thing. That looks like it, yeah. You can plug
Right.
it in as long as the other side has what you need to plug in on the other side. It all depends because this side can have all kinds of, here, this side can have all kinds of connections. I have it for something else, for an old monitor. So you can buy these with anything, and this is an old monitor, and so this wouldn't work to put in my iPhone, but I have others that do. So if the other side you can plug in, I'm trying to see you. Let me make you bigger. Hold on. Spotlight. Okay, so guys, what she has here, if you can see it, is she has on the left side the two thin slots. They're for camera cards. So for those of you who take a card out of your camera and put it in here, if you have that kind of camera, and then the one that's like a big rectangle, that is the one that takes the good old-fashioned square, so to say, USB, the one that's just called the USB. So if your iPhone has one of those square ones right there, yeah, then plug that into there and then plug the other side into your computer. So that should work as long as that's what you have. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Grab your phone, put the squarish looking one in there, and and then you can plug it in. And that's also, by the way, for Mac level 2, I'll be telling you guys to to buy something to back up your computer, and those always need these adapters as well. So these adapters aren't like a one-time thing. You need them for many things. Oh, here you go. Here's an example of what,
Yeah.
if you have this on the other side, and everyone recognizes these, they've been around forever. These are the ones that they're kind of getting rid of, so to say. So anything that ends with this needs one of the adapters, kind of like the one she showed. There's so many types and shapes, right? But yeah, you plug this into this side of it, and then that side of it goes into your computer now. Okay? All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So I'm going to everyone get rid of anything, quit everything except for a Finder window. And I'm going to share my screen. So how did I get this Finder window? Okay, I got this Finder window once again by going to the half smiley blue face, and I click one time and I get a Finder window. Okay. For those of you who want a different way to open a Finder window and you like shortcuts, you could right click, and no, you can't. Oh, that's interesting. Why can't you get a Finder window by right clicking? You can do so many things right clicking. Okay, forget it. You can't right click and get a Finder window, but you can go up to the word Finder, File, and say New Finder Window. But if I go to Folder, File, New Finder Window, why don't I, instead of doing all that, look at the shortcut, and it's Command N. Now, Command N is always a new window. It means new whatever. So those of you, for example, Patricia, who's in Photoshop with me, Command N in Photoshop means new layer if you're touching on layers. Command N if you're writing a contact means new contact record to put someone else's phone number. So Command N is a shortcut that just means new of whatever app you're in. And many of you guys are not at shortcuts mode yet, but some of you guys have been taking these classes enough that you want to begin to hear more about these shortcuts. So if this is one too many, don't pay attention to this right now. But for those for which this isn't one too many, know that Command N always means new. So for example, if I open my contacts and I want to make a new record, a new card, it'll say Command N. Does that make sense? If I open my notes and I want to make a new note, it'll say Command N. You see it? So it just means new of whatever you're in. Okay, it's like just like Command Q is quit whatever app you're in, Command N. So if I now in the Finder say, hold down the command, and if that word says Finder and hit the N key, I get a new Finder window. So again, this is shortcuts for people who are beginning to want a bit more. Okay, for the rest of you, just click one time on the little smiley face and open a new Finder window. And once you have a new Finder window open, everyone give me a good old yes. I want to hear, I want to have a new Finder window open by everyone, and then we'll move on. So Linda, your hand was up.
Yes, could you give an example of when you would use this iPhone mirroring? I'm able to pull it up, but when would I use it?
That's why I don't want to spend too much more time on it. But a lot of times when I'm demoing things on the computer, then I demo things on the Mac, and then you guys, then I am demo things on the phone. And then if you run into trouble with the phone, you can't share your phone with me. You can always share your computer with me, but you can't share your phone with me. So if your iPhone mirroring is set up, then I can say, okay, let's pull up your phone, and I can look at your phone when you share your screen. That's all. It's just, that's why I don't want to spend too much time on it.
Can I just have one more quick question? So
Yeah.
I've had that is on my iMac. And I have had a note come across my iMac saying a phone call is coming in from your phone. Can
Mhm.
I answer my phone from my iMac?
Yeah, that's a great question. And let me backtrack to your other question. There's more. I said in this class, that's what I would use iPhone mirroring for. But just so you know, so people who can connect their computer to their TV, for example, you could play a movie from your phone or show photos on your phone during a party and have it mirror onto your computer, onto your TV, for example. So it's not just, this app wasn't made for my class. It was made for being able to show what's on your phone on a different device. So, but so that then I'm continuing to answer the first question because your second one's a whole different subject, and I'll answer that in a second. Just so you know, I could mirror this computer onto my TV if you have a newer TV that's a smart TV or whatever, and then you could open up your Photos app that you've made all this memories and screen, stuff like that. For those of you who take my photos class, and make a little slideshow and show the photos of your trip, which those of you who are taking my iLife class this afternoon, you'll begin to see photos of my trip. Because you can mirror your computer or you can mirror your phone onto another device. Okay. All right. So that's what that app is all about. But the only reason I wanted to see if people had it is so that I can help people with their phones. All right. Now, the second question was when the phone rings, her computer rings. Who else has that happening? Okay, I'm going to clear your feedback. Because most of you guys have opened a Finder window, and if you haven't yet, please do so. You can set up your phone to be answerable on your computer. So that's a choice you can make. And then if you do that, then when you're on your computer and the phone rings and your phone is in the other room and you have your laptop right here, you can just say, okay, and then talk to your computer and you'll hear the other person talking on the other side. So yeah, you can, if you were by your phone, you would pick it up from your phone. If you're by a computer, pick it up from your computer, which really helps a lot. People who are, writers, people who work all day at their computers, the phone rings, they don't have to go grab their phone. They can answer straight from the phone. But if on the other hand, you don't like the fact that your computer starts to ring every time you get a call, then you can disconnect that choice. So your choice if you want to do that or not. And where do you make those choices? In your system settings under phone, I believe, is where you can choose to have your computer. And this phone is an old one, so I'm not sure if that's gonna be available. No, this is audio, so I need to go to my apps. So I'll have to look and see where you would do that right now. It's not popping up very quickly. But yeah. Where's the apps? The apps used to be. Did they change where the app? Look at me. The one who's about to teach you how to go to the apps, and suddenly I'm not seeing the apps icon. It should be here to go to all my apps. Sorry, guys. General Apple control displays, sounds. Right here, it should say,
What
all-
about the very top?
what's that?
Under applications, what about at the very top?
No, I'm not looking at the Finder window right now. I'm looking at the system settings. That's why I know I'm kind of confusing people, but okay, looks like I need to look at, I don't know how to find my phone app right now. How weird. Okay, never mind. I don't want to confuse people. I'll get to that to show you how to do that with your phone. But for now, yeah, you can choose that in your settings. Anyway, let's go back to what I was teaching you, which is everyone open a Windows Finder and a Finder window. I'm speaking dyslexia. Georgia, you said no to what is that? Just in case there's something happening, or is it just an answer to some question and you don't know what it is anymore? Or is something not working?
I'm not sure. You asked a question and
I thought so. I asked a while ago.
Yeah,
So
and I
it
don't
was,
remember.
I asked whether, do you have a Finder window open? No, I asked after I said, does the phone ring on your
Oh,
computer?
that's it. That's it.
That's it. Okay. So now Finder window open, everyone. We're going to do some more work with the Finder here. And if you go to
Do you want us to go to recents?
yeah, I'm just trying to, no, this is what the computer opens up at. So if I open a Finder window, by default, it stops at recents. Okay. So
Okay.
that's kind of where it hands. But I'm trying to think. I'm noticing that, yeah. So give me a second. I won't do the Finder window. I'll do that either next class or the first day of Mac level 1. I was going to show you guys how to do some work on the Finder, but that's actually a lot of Mac level 1, which starts next week. Oh, by the way, look at what look at the am I sharing my screen still? Yeah. So look at what's up. You guys, this is our last Mac level 1 class. Let me look at the 1 second schedule. Has everyone signed up for Mac level? It's not Mac, this is intro to Mac. Has everyone signed up for Mac level? Don't watch what I'm doing. It could look confusing. Has everyone signed up for Mac level 1?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then let me look at my okay, because today is our last day of intro to the Mac. Thursday is Mac level 1. Okay, so if you want to join us on Thursday, you need to be signed up for Mac level 1. Okay, and I kind of showed the rosters last week, but at this point, in 2 days, there's no more intro to the Mac, and you won't get messages from me unless you're in Mac level 1. Okay, just making sure everyone knows that. Okay, so I'm going to answer that. So I'm going to start with what I was about to show you actually on Thursday, because I'm going to show you a few more things about the Mac first. Okay, so up here at the very top of our screen, okay, at the very top of our screen, that's called the menu bar, way at the top. Okay, right to the where the Apple is and all the stuff that keeps going. And there's quite a few things here, and then there's some space, and then there's some things here. Does that make sense? Does everyone see that? Yep. I'm actually moving the chat over here so that my Zoom doesn't get in the way. Okay. So, and then we have a bunch of icons over here. Some of you guys have 5, some of you guys have 25, some of you guys have 205 or 2005. We shall find out, because all these icons that are here are what we're going to deal with in Mac level 1. So as of Thursday, we're going to start dealing with that. Now, down here in the dock, okay, you have the applications, and then you have the the ones that weren't there. And then you have this space to the right and the trash. So some of you guys might just have the trash after this line, and that's it. And you might have nothing else. If you have anything minimized, I minimized this. I'm going to click on it again. That's what goes next to the trash, the minimized things. I have minimized my iPhone mirroring app, and that's what's in there. It's my iPhone mirroring app and my Safari app. But then I also have here a folder, which is my downloads folder. So again, we're going to talk about this one next week. But let me explain that what goes in here next to the trash are only things like files or minimized apps. That's it, minimized apps. And then after this line to the left, it's all apps. Okay, it's just apps. So just apps are different things that you use to use in your computer. So this here, after, the first gray line or black line that's there to the right is qualitative. It's a different type of things than what's there. And these three are the most recently used apps. Now I'm going to show you something relatively similar. When I open a Finder window, when you first open a Finder window, it just defaults to the recents. See how it says recents? Is everyone just, when you just open it, it says recents? If you're moving around and applications, close it and open it again, and you'll see that you'll end up in recents. Okay. Now, recents is similar to this. This, after all, this portion of the dog is called recents. If you actually notice, you can say how many apps you want in your recents area, and it's this. So it's things that you have recently used. So when you're in recents in your Finder, these are things that you have recently used as far as files. These are recently used apps. These are recently used files that you have opened in your computer. Does that make sense? It's the recent section of your Finder. Now, next week, when we start organizing all this stuff that's in your computer, you'll understand more about it. But right now, it just means that I open this file. And when did I open it last? On 6/17/2022. This one's 7/28/2020, and so on and so forth. So that's what it's showing me. Actually, I don't have it set up by recents. How interesting. Sorry, I had moved something up, but this is where it should be. So I open, these are all the rosters. That is what I'm opening all the time. And as you can see over here, date last open, it opened yesterday. Then I go down to July 3rd, July 7th, July 1st, and stuff like that. So those are the things that I have used lately. Now, and this one, I'm going to begin to explain, but this is deeply part of what I will explain next class. This is how we are starting. This is stored somewhere very specific in my computer. And this is stored something very, and this is stored something very specific. Like they have places. And imagine that my computer is my house, right? And you walk into your house and you have a kitchen, a bathroom, a bedroom, a living room. If you just bought butter, you're not going to put it in the bathroom. You're going to put it in the kitchen. And not only in the kitchen, but hopefully you'll open the refrigerator and put it away, unless you have a special kind of European butter holder, whatever, but butter probably, or meat probably goes in the refrigerator. There we go, meat. Everyone puts their meat in the refrigerator. Okay, so that's what these areas on your computer are in your Finder on the side. These are those rooms. There's a room for your applications. There's a room for your things that you downloaded from the internet. There's a room that's the desktop. That's as soon as you walk in, you dump everything into your house, like right there, that's your desktop. There's a room where you file away your documents correctly. So these are all parts of your computer that are set up and that you can find your things in there. As much as you were to walk into the kitchen to find your butter, and you would walk into your bedroom, hopefully to find your, I don't know, your bed or your pillows. But the computer has the possibility of showing you all the stuff that you own in your house by order of when you last picked it up. Can you imagine if you just use butter and you're in the bathroom now and you reach out and go, last thing I use, and you pick up the butter from your bathroom. That's kind of what this is, right? You're in a place with whatever you want is at your fingertips. That's the recents based on what you used last. But how do we know where all these places are? Well, there's something that some of you guys have taken this class before already have down here that's missing when you first open your computer that you didn't open. And that helps you find out where your things are. So let's make sure that everyone has it. If the bottom of your Finder window looks like mine, basically you just see what's there and nothing else, then go up to the Finder, File, Edit, View. So it needs to say Finder here. So you need to be in your Finder window. Go to View, click on View, and we're going to scroll down to Show Path Bar, and then we're going to let go of our finger, and this is going to appear at the bottom of our Finder window. View. When I go back, now it says Hide Path Bar because it's showing. So if I say Hide Path Bar, it disappears again. So whenever you go, the word will be different. Now it says show again. Why? Because it's not showing. So it changes from show to hide, show to hide. So I want to click on show path bar. And I want that the next time I go up, it will say hide. And I don't want to hide it. I now want to show status bar. So I'm going to show status bar as well. And I'm going to click on show status bar. And by the time I'm done, the bottom of my Finder window should look like this. I should see two new kind of bars at the bottom. Once you've been able to do this, give me a yes. And Sue, I see your hand is up, so I'm going to answer some questions now while people are doing this. But you need to go to the Apple Finder View. And at the end, you should see these three saying hide, 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 hide. That is good. That means you're done. And if you were to click on a hide, you will hide it and it'll be gone again. So go back and click on the word show so that it shows. It's like a command, show or hide. You're telling the computer to either show or hide something you want to show them. Now, when you have those two turned on, give me a yes. Meanwhile, yes, Sue, what's your question?
I'm lost. My Finder window doesn't look anything like your Finder window.
Well, it probably looks like icons or something like that, right? I mean,
No, it's in list form.
okay.
But and now what happened?
Let's go ahead. Go ahead and share your window. If it's in list, that's all I needed to know. If it's in list form and it still looks really weird, then show me your window. So,
share. Where's my share?
the green
Oh, the green thing.
green share button, and then again another blue one at the bottom that says share.
Another.
And it's after you click the green share button
Where's the blue? Blue?
at the bottom. Have you clicked the green one yet?
Yeah.
Okay, if
I
you
clicked the green one.
okay, then at the bottom of the next window, the one that you're looking at, a white window now, says share in blue button with white letters. All right, so let's start again. Did you click on the green up arrow that says share? Okay, so
I don't know where you are. This doesn't look anything like.
okay, hold on. I'm trying to get to that. So first you need to share your screen. So do you find the Zoom stuff? Because remember, on the computer that you need to share to me, you have Zoom hiding. So you need to open Zoom, unhide your Zoom first, right? So Sue, stop looking around for stuff and look at me. Look at me. I see you're not looking at me. Look at me.
Which one?
You're
I'm
on
looking at you.
Okay, got it. All right. So now, when on the computer that you're working, you have hidden your Zoom because that's what you've done. That's why you're looking at me on the other one. So you need to first go to the Zoom icon on the dock and see the Zoom window so that then you can share your window with me.
I have to get out of what I'm in.
What
I
are
don't know what I'm
does
in.
it say?
I'm I'm locked into some,
Oh, God. This is gonna be.
Go up to the top apple and say quit to whatever it is that you're in.
I can't get to my app. Oh, here we go. Apple,
Okay, now on the right to the right of the apple, what does it say?
Finder.
Okay, so you're in the Finder, so you don't need to get out of anything. You're fine.
But I don't have anything like what you're talking about.
Okay, so go next to the Finder to the
Is
word
files.
file and go next to the word Finder. Go to the word file and say new Finder window.
Okay,
Okay.
now it shows me my
Window.
recents, blah.
Okay, so that's what I was showing. Next to that file where you said new Finder window, it says edit and then it says view.
Says edit.
And then view.
Next to my Finder window.
No, up at the top by the apple, it says Finder. If you keep moving to the right, it says file. If you keep moving to the right, it says edit. And if you keep moving to the right, it says view.
View.
Okay, click on that view. And now, way down there, almost at the bottom, it'll say show path bar and show status bar. And you need to click on them.
Both of them?
Yeah, first one, then you have to go back and the other one. You can't do both at the same time. So you click on one, then you go up to the view and you go back and you say show status bar. Okay?
Got it.
All right, so that's exactly where we were. So unless there's any other questions, I'm waiting for yeses from everyone to see if they turned on their dock and their status bar. So if you have done that, or you already had it, then give me a yes so that I don't need to call you one by one. Yes, Julie?
Okay, under recents, at the bottom, I have 1,145 items, but I don't have the other one that says where things are.
Okay, so if you go up to view, see if you can show path bar.
So I have view. And it says hide tab bar, hide path bar, hide status bar.
Okay, so say hide path bar and then turn it on again. It seems like it's hiding somewhere. Say hide and then go back and say show path bar.
Uh-oh. Show path bar, okay.
Here we go. That's the one that should show where things are.
No, that just,
Because you don't have anything selected yet. Okay, so it doesn't show anything. Let me share my screen and I'll show everyone what's happening. So this is what's happening right now. This is the settings that right now Julie is describing. Under recents, I said that there'd be 2 bars, but see how one is empty?
yeah.
Versus if I select something, now it has information.
Oh,
Okay. When I click on downloads, I click on something, it has information. When I click on desktop, it has information. So this is what we're going to start talking about right now. Let's get back to recents for a second. Usually I explain recents at the end of Mac level 1. Today I'm explaining it even before Mac level 1. I'm always trying to figure out a way because everyone wants to know what's recents. And I'm like, well, you'll understand it at the end of Mac level 1. But now let me give you an explanation of it. And then if it still is a bit confusing, then don't worry, you will understand what recents is at the end of Mac level 1. But the problem with that is that recents is the default setting. Everyone opens a Finder window and they find themselves in recents, right? So what is recents? Remember how I just showed you in the dock, the last app that you open just pops up in that dock area? Here under recents, the last thing I opened pops in at the top. So that's all. It's my files by order of opening. That's it. Now, every else thing that I have in here will be as if I walked into my house and I go into my bedroom and there's the things for bedroom and I go into my kitchen and I go into my bathroom. But recents is the only one that is completely impossible to replicate in real life. It's like I said, it's as if you're in your bedroom and you go, give me book. But if you left book in living room, you have to walk to the living room, right? So recents is like you just grab what you want wherever you are, just based on
What you
when
use.
it was opened. So watch, just watch. when I click on this file, single click, not double click, not open, just click. Just watch me. Don't do this yet. When I click on this one that's at the top, in the path bar that we just opened up, it says iCloud Drive, Documents, Attendance Rosters, Photoshop Summer. Okay,
No.
let me see. Hold on. I'm going to click on this one. It says iCloud Drive, Documents, Attendance Rosters, Illustrator Summer. When I click on this one, iCloud Drive, Documents, Attendance Rosters, Intro to the Mac Summer. So basically what it's telling me is I've just opened my drawer and I'm looking at all my socks. One is red, one is green, one is yellow. I'm in a spot in my house that is showing me my rosters, and I have them tidily stored where? In the iCloud Drive Documents Attendance Rosters. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is basically my sock, my green sock that's in my drawer, that's in my closet in my bedroom. Does that make sense? This is the path to my green socks. It's showing me where they are stored. Let me instead click on this thing that says screenshot.
Yeah.
But when I look down here, it's like, oh, for the first time, it's somewhere else. It's still in my iCloud Drive, but it's on my desktop and it's called Screenshot. So this is like I walked into the house and I kicked off my shoes and left them hanging there. They're on my desktop. They're just boom. And if I look at that, oh, here it is. It's a screenshot. It's one of these screenshots. Then I click on Light Question. Whoa, and I look down here and this one says it's in the iCloud Drive, in the documents, in the do not remove files, in the summer Photoshop class files, there's that question. So this is much more hidden. It's like it's a little jewelry box or something that I have to go into my bedroom and I need to go into my closet and open my little jewelry box, pull it out and open the little ring drawer. Boom, there it is. But it's where it should be. Does that make sense? So the path bar that we turned on is the path to my files. When I click on this one, when I click on this one, it's showing me the path to my files. If I click on this one, it's telling me where that one is. All right. So these are all, oh, look, this is the first time that it doesn't say that it's in iCloud. It's in the SBCC teacher downloads. Okay. So this is whenever I download something from the internet, it gonna go and live in the downloads of my computer. So now I know to go over to my garage and open the garage door and go find whatever I dropped in out of the trunk of my car, for example, right? So this is the path to that file. It's in my downloads folder versus, and this one is in my Google Drive. It's in my Drive Padlet folder. So it's telling me where my stuff is. Wouldn't it be great? I would love if this existed in my home, that I just kind of go, where did I leave? And I just look at my recents. Oh, well, I picked it up last week and I scroll down to last week. There it is. That's where I put it, in that drawer. Darn it, I would have never known. So that's what this is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No,
It
it does.
tells me where my stuff is. That's it. On the other hand, some of you guys are like, oh my God, this is, this is great. And others are like, well, but I know I put it in the right place, because if you're tidy and you put it in the right place, you don't need to do that. You can just go to your downloads and there you will find the Glacier presets, because yes, that's where it is. It's in my Macintosh hard drive users teacher downloads Glacier presets. If I click on my classes for fall, by the way, we just got this flyer. I have to correct my classes, but that's also in my downloads folder. I just downloaded it that Emma just sent me. Versus if I go to my desktop, I have all these screenshots on my desktop, and yep, there they are littered on my desktop. And I have one folder. And so, yep, it's an iCloud Drive in the desktop and it's in one folder. Okay. So if I know that they're there, why bother going to the recents, finding the date that I'm looking for, and then going, where did I put that thing in? Oh, there it is. I put it in SBC teacher movies, TV, media, home videos, graduation short. Phew. Okay. That's where it was. I forgot. So that's useful as long as I can find it. And how do I find it? Basically by order of when it was last used. So that's all recents is. It's an aggregate of everything you've used lately in order of when it was used. That's all. But if you understand where things are stored, you can go to them yourself. So like I know that my application's under applications. I don't need to go to recents. I know that this is where I'll find my applications. If I know that my class files are under attendance rosters, I just go to my documents and I go to my attendance rosters, which by the way, I'm going to look at them as list. And here's my attendance rosters. And there it is. If I open this folder and I'll see there my attendance rosters. Are they the same ones that were here under recents? Yeah. It's not two different ones. This isn't a different roster. This is telling me where it lives. But where it lives is in the folder called attendance rosters. This is the real thing. Does that make sense, you guys?
Mhm.
So just like the doc isn't the application, it's a kind of a shortcut to my application because it's the ones that I want handy. The recents is a shortcut to my folder, and my real folder, attendance rosters, is in my documents. So let me go to my documents, to my attendance rosters, and there's the real thing. Does that make sense? That's the real file. The other one was a way to show me where it is. Now, can I open it from here? Yeah. Can I also open it from here? Yeah, just like the doc. If I want to open an application, I can go to applications and open it from here, or I can just go to my doc and open it from there. It opens from here or from there. Does that make sense? It's one file and it has a little quick shortcut under the recents folder to open it so that I don't have to go find it. So some of you never know where your things are, then look over here and in order of when you used it last, you'll find it. But if you didn't use something for a year, can you imagine scrolling down for a year to find that file there? It's much easier to know where it goes. And where it goes is what we're going to be learning in Mac Level 1. I'll be able to go and find the things nicely put away in the right place. Now, under my documents, this was left at the end of last time that I taught the Mac Level 1 class. It ended up looking really nice and organized because that's my goal for you guys. Now, by Thursday, when I open my documents, you're going to see a disaster, a mess over here because I'm going to mess everything up again, which is imitate what most of you guys have when you go to the documents folder. You have a bazillion things, a bunch of stuff, desktop, same, download, same. And so we're going to organize that. But the thing that matters to me right now and should matter to you is everyone click on the word documents. And once you've clicked on the word documents, let's go down here and read what this path says. My documents folder, you read it backwards, is inside of my iCloud Drive. It's like saying my house is in Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara is in the United States of America, in California. California is in the United States. So you kind of read it backwards. So if it says that your documents are in the iCloud Drive, give me a yes. If it says that your documents are in the Macintosh hard drive, for example, my download says that. My downloads says that it's inside of the SPC teacher users Macintosh hard drive. So if your documents say that they're in the Macintosh hard drive, then give me a no. Right now, I don't need to know about downloads. I need to know about documents. Where are your documents? Yes, if they are in your iCloud Drive. And no, if they are not. So go to the yes and no. Yes, my stuff is in the iCloud Drive. No, my stuff is not in the iCloud Drive. Okay. Yes and no. Okay. Kate, and then I'm not sure, Yolanda, you haven't spoken much today. I'm not sure if you're there, but I know your stuff is in iCloud Drive, so that's fine. And Justine, I'm not sure, you said you were kind of in and out working. So that means that everyone has answered. Okay, so I have basically 1, 2, 3, 4 people, 5 people said no. I saw in the iCloud Drive, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, the 2 that I do know said yes, it's in the iCloud Drive. Okay, so almost even, which is interesting because lately it's more like 10 to 2, yes. So this is actually interesting that I have as many no's as I have. Most of the times, by default, people, when they set up their computer, it just basically gets put in the iCloud Drive. All right, so this is good information. I'm going to do a screenshot so that later, whenever I have to remember who said what of this one, I will know. And when we come back from break, I will explain what this interesting information means and why it matters or doesn't matter. Okay? So keep those hands up or down. I did do a screenshot, but just in case, keep your hands up or down. And let's go ahead and take our break. And our break will be 15 minutes from now, which is, oh, look at that, 10:46. This one's relatively easy. 11:01. Did I get that one right?
Yes, you did.
11, let's say 02 because by the time we talk and someone asks something, it's going to be 15 minutes because that's how it works. 11:02. Be back at 11:02 a.m. Remember how to do Siri? Just talk into Siri and say, hey Siri, set timer for 12 minutes. Okay, everyone say that. And I'll see you all in 15 minutes. But see, there we go. It's 10:47, so good.
Siri, set time for 12 minutes.
12 minutes starting now. By the way, if you have another request, you don't need to say Siri before you ask it.
All right, we're back. So 11:02. Yeah, 11:02. Cool. I was like, did I get here? Where did I leave my tea? Oh, I have my tea back here. Here we go. All right. Okay, so if you're back, don't change your yeses and nos because I still don't have the list memorized. So Georgia, Julie, I knew. My son, Diane, and Sue. Okay, so Sue, Diane, and Georgia. So 3 of the students that are new to me, that's interesting, do not have their stuff on the cloud. Julie, I already knew. And that's it. And everyone else does. Which is interesting. This is not something I tell people to do per se. I don't tell them to put on the cloud, but it does divide into that right now. Sue, Georgia, and Diane. Okay, that I got it. I know who is and isn't on the cloud. Okay. So if you said no, but I'm going to call your names right now, Julie, Sue, Georgia, and Diane, take note, make a note right now and say not on cloud. Just say not on cloud. So then as we move forward with all of this stuff of where things are stored, where they're not, all the stuff that we're going to start in depth on Thursday, then you will be able to not have to come here again for me to show you this for you guys to say you're not on the cloud, and you'll understand more or all about it. That's all Thursday. Okay. Right now, I just wanted to find this out. And meanwhile, I'm going to show you a few more computer things before we get truly into where and what and how come of all of our files. Okay. Which is what we'll be working on in Mac level 1. Now, I want to clear your answers. Where's my clear answer thing? Here it is.
I have,
And yes,
is it preferable to have your stuff on the cloud and not just on your computer?
Thursday.
Okay,
Perfect question for Thursday. That's Mac level 1. The entire class is about where the stuff is, where it isn't. I won't say what's preferable or not. I will be giving you all the explanations and options, and you'll choose what's preferable for you. Some people discover that it's better to not have it. Some people discover that it's better to have it. And that's a choice that you'll make once I really explain the whole situation. Okay?
okay. One of my problems is that my computer is operating on Wi-Fi, and I feel like that's a slow connection. I'd rather have it right from my cable, but that requires, equipment and hookup from the cable company.
Well, we'll talk when, okay, I said we'll talk more about this on Thursday, but when you say cable, Wi-Fi and cable are the same thing. What are you, can you explain?
Well, my Wi-Fi, my cable comes into a little Wi-Fi thing in the living room,
Yes.
and then there's some kind of relay, so it's then
Yeah, a
sent
router. Uh-huh.
a router over the air, not through wires to my computer.
Okay. I would say that's 99% of everyone who's in this room.
Oh, okay. I used to have it plugged right into the wall, and it seemed like it
Yeah, it
was
is faster. So say that you buy from Frontier or from Cox, I think are the only 2 gigs in town, which by the way, and this one I am not being paid for, but I had so many issues with Cox and Frontier is so much better. But I have heard that if something doesn't work with Frontier, then the customer service isn't good, but I don't know because mine has always worked in case people are wondering. I used to have my computer for years now. I've been teaching by air, so to say. And now that I moved into my studio for the first time ever, I wired my main computer, but this laptop is still on what you call by air,
Yeah.
a router. So it's it's good for 99% of what you're gonna do. Unless you're like a gamer, a streamer, someone who's got like, you know, intense use of Wi-Fi, then yeah, say that you buy 500 gigabytes of speed. And I'm not going to get into the details, but say that you pay for a really fast connection, that's so that your whole house can get it. When it goes by air, you will measure less on your computer than if it were connected to that wire. But that amount of less matters, as I said, maybe for gamers or streamers, you know, for that kind of thing. But I don't have even my TV that works by the router, my printer. The only thing I have connected is the old computer, and my old computer, in fact, the one that is crashing, is the only thing I have connected to the cable for the first time in years to the wall itself. So yes, it is faster, but it's not worth.
It's not significant. Okay.
It's not significant. Now, let me caveat that. If you find that when you go further from the where the cable enters your house, right, where you have that initial router, if you find that if you are in a room that's suddenly you're trying to get it and it's faltering or something like that, so I need to make sure that I explain my whole thing. The cable connection should be as high as possible. Like it should enter high. If it's on the floor, that's not good. You know, ideally it's high so it spreads out well. And if you have a ton of walls between where it is and your room, yeah, all those walls are in the way. So if you have more of an open space, that's fine. But if you're far from it, then you need to get extender. I bought a thing called Google Nest, and I have like 4 little repeaters that I put around my house. But you can also buy it from the system. If Frontier can send you these Eero things, and you basically put another little box somewhere else and it picks it up and broadcasts it to the parts of your house that don't get it well. And that's not expensive. I got it at Costco, whatever. So you can like extend the connection further. But yeah, the further you get, the slightly slower it is. So yeah, just, you know, if you're relatively close, you should be fine. Anyway, but that shouldn't mean much for the conversation about the cloud, because on the cloud, all you have is files. Files aren't heavy. I'm talking gaming, streaming, heavy internet use, like, you know, people who are working with me. I'm hosting a Zoom with, you know, 25 people. I might need more power, but other than that, it's not an issue for files, just files. So even that answer that I gave you doesn't really matter much for files. Okay. So let me, I'm going to, we're going to go, I'm going to share my screen again. Actually, more than my screen, let's open our system settings, and I'm going to share just my system settings. And so I'm sharing the system settings of my newer computer. And I'm sorry, Carol, my other guy keeps dying. So here it is. It's here again. So I'll keep turning it on, but I can't always show you how it looks on yours, which right now this is the only chance it's been needed. Yeah, there it is. But in the system settings, since it does look different, it's where I want to make sure that I can share with you until here I have the other one open up. Okay. So we're going to start looking a little bit more into other stuff that's in our computer here that matters. So the other day, we had gone from general that we learned about these top 3, and then we went down to the desktop and the dock, and then we went down to, I believe, the screensaver and the wallpaper. So those are the ones that we saw, remember? I mean, it's what we kind of paid attention to. There's some other things here that matter a lot. And we're going to be talking for a second about the control center. But first, I want us to go to accessibility. Accessibility. There's a couple things here that I want you guys to start exploring. A couple that we're going to work on right now, but a few that I want you to start exploring kind of as homework. So what I mean by homework, choose one. And if you just turn it on and off, you might not understand what it's doing and you might mess your computer. But what I want you guys to do is to go to accessibility, personalized Mac in ways that best birth for you with accessibility features for vision, hearing, motor, speech, and cognition. And then it says learn more. I'm going to share my entire screen so you see what these learn mores are. So you click on learn more and it opens this thing called Mac User Guide. Okay, so let me show you that again. Accessibility, personalized. So I'm in under general accessibility, learn more. When you click on learn more, sometimes it opens the internet and it just takes you to an Apple page. But when it can, it shows you the Mac user guide. Did anyone know that we had a Mac user guide on your computer? Okay, so I see, Sue, that you're looking confused. Did you open your system settings?
Accessibility.
Okay, hold on. Sue, you open your system settings? Okay, so go either in your dock, you can open the system settings, or you can go to the Apple system settings. That's the easiest way. Go to the Apple and system settings. Give me a nod when you got the system settings open. Okay, and now as you go down under general, there's accessibility. Okay, hopefully everyone else found it by now. If not, you would be telling me. And then I'm pointing to this top thing that says learn more. Now, I'm wondering on the computer that you have, Carol, if there's the Mac user guide. No, it doesn't just come on the Mac on your computer. Okay, Carol? So, but you said you're about to buy something, so you might be with us whenever you get it. Okay. So, this app is called the Tips app. If you look at the Apple, see how it says Tips? And in fact, the Tips used to be in the Monterey. Let me see if I look for Tips.
Diana?
No, it's not on that one either. Yes?
I am on accessibility,
Yeah.
but I do not see what you just said.
Okay. So if you're in accessibility and you go up and down, do you see at the very top the description, personalized makes? Do you see this little link that says learn more right there? It might be that yours is showing something different.
No, I lost my accessibility. My goodness, where did it go?
Okay, go to your system settings.
System setting.
Okay.
And okay, let me see. I see my accessibility.
Okay, when you click on system settings, accessibility, at the very top, you maybe are in one of them or something, but if you're inside display, for example, you would have to go back one to be in the general accessibility. And then if there, it says learn more. Otherwise, I'll show you how to open the Tips app.
The learn more, I cannot find. I see a hearing,
Okay, I hear you. Okay, if you see hearing motor, if you go to the very, very, very top, you might see it. And it might be that on your version, if you're a version up or down, you might not see this. That's okay. We can open this as an app. We can open this as an app if we open the Tips app. Okay, so how do you open the Tips app, you guys? So say that I'm going to say that I don't have any of this and I want to open the Tips app. I go to my Finder window, I go to application, and I go to ABCFQRT. There it is, Tips app. Okay. And I will click on Tips app.
Either that mine. Do you mind if I share my screen?
Sure, go for it.
See, I will click this share, right?
And then one more share.
There, share, okay. Am I there?
Yeah, I am seeing it. Okay, so you're in, let me put my mouse over this. You're here. This is your system settings, but you're in desktop and dock. So go ahead and click on accessibility.
Click on accessibility right here, right? The one with the pink.
Yeah, click on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Now you need to move your thing over a little bit because you don't see the whole system settings. So go up here to this neutral area up where I'm circling and click and drag it over a little.
Go to the left or going to
Yes,
the right?
the left because I need to be able to see this whole there. Thank you. That's enough. I mean, just a little is enough. Okay. So now click on accessibility.
Accessibility. Oh, click here.
Yeah. And then here we go. Learn more.
Learn more. Oh, I see. Okay, right there.
Yeah. But what it opens is the Tips app, which what happens is that you don't then need to find it. You're there. But you could have also just opened the Tips app from the Finder window. Now you're there, so you're perfect. I'm going to stop there. Stop your share. But remember, you can open the Tips app. Is it, maybe it's not in the Ventura, Julie?
Right, and I don't have it.
Okay. Well, then there you go. If you
Neither
don't,
do I.
okay. And Patricia, you're also on Ventura, right? What are you on?
I'm Ventura, yeah.
So my two Ventura guys don't have it. There you
Yeah,
go.
we don't have.
Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. The phones though have a Tips app, and you can find equivalent to this on the phone for the phone, but and which might help for Patricia who has an iPhone, but not for Julie who doesn't. Anyway, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna open them again. See, I minimized them. Oh, let me share my screen. Okay. All right, so see, I had minimized them to get it out of the way. So now I'm going to pull them up again. Here's my Tips app. Here's my system settings. So this is a user guide. Now, for those of you who don't have the user guide under the Tips app, you can write Mac user guide and then put Ventura in Safari, and you will be able to open the Mac user. It used to be only online. Now it's also available just on your computer. But it used to be that you had to be online. So if you go to Safari and write Ventura Mac user guide, Apple, whatever, and it'll take you to this same guide online. So let me show you. If I go to Safari and I open a new tab and I say Mac user guide Ventura, and I hit that, then Apple support, open the Mac user guide and stuff like that. So if I go just to this one, it has to be Apple support. And I go there, and then here's the Mac OS user guide for Ventura. And basically this is that, and you can search here's the table of contents, and basically it shows you the same stuff. Does that make sense? Here's accessibility. And when you open accessibility, this is what we're talking about. Okay. So this is for people who don't have it on the Tips app. The Mac user guide has been online forever. So there's Mac user guide also, for example, if I say Mac user guide for Monterey, but Carol, you're about to not have Monterey anymore, but you could do that. You could say Mac user guide Monterey, and then you click on that and you go to the Apple support one, not to all these other brands, but you go to the Apple support version, and here's Mac user guide for Monterey. Okay, does that work, you guys? So now I'm going to keep showing the one that's in the Tips, but it's, as you can see, it's the same thing. It's the table of contents. It's on the left. You can learn so much. So my goal is all of you guys, especially those who know now how to find it online. I want you to start learning a little bit about the accessibility features. And I don't know you guys, but you might discover that what you need is some support making things bigger. So you go under vision, or you might have some hearing issues and you go, oh, okay, so let me see, I can get subtitles, or you might have mobility issues, et cetera, speech issues. Now, when I say issues, it's not like you need to have big issues to want your text larger on a Mac, right? So it's not like issues like, okay, you're blind, rather like, oh God, I don't want to have to get my glasses out every time that I do that. So it would be really nice if we were to go in and start learning about this, like read about this. Okay, so here's accessibility, get started, vision, hearing, mobility, and speech, right? So you can start learning at what all these things are, and they have if you click on this, sometimes it might take you online. Learn more about Excel features for vision. So when you click on that, then it shows, well, you have VoiceOver. So this is completely control your Mac with commands. So from the point of, I can't see anything, or Braille, to just how to increase the size of text. And that one is something that most of us could want, or enlarge text as you read or type, or make the pointer bigger. And that's the one I'm going to show you right now, these two. Make the pointer bigger or make the text and icons bigger. But I also find that sometimes I show you how to do things, and that's not the best way to learn. The best way to learn is to know how to help yourself. And that's why today I'm showing you this Mac user guide, right? Because, yeah, I'm going to show you these too, but what if you prefer a bunch of the others, right? So let me just show you these two. So, for example, if I click on make increase size of text or make the pointer bigger, it's under the vision. If I go over here and I click on display, here we're going to begin to find these things that we're talking about right now. So, accessibility, display, which is different than the displays over there. Okay, so it seems like it's the same thing, but it's different. This is what monitors are connected to my computer versus under accessibility display. How does these things display on my computer? How do they display? Can they display bigger or smaller? Okay, so now I'm gonna hide everything else for a second. Or not hide everything else, pop out some of the things that you might see changing. Some text, some icons. Right now, my icons are pretty big. You might have not noticed it, but I've already made my icons a bit bigger because since I'm teaching, this is in this computer setup for you guys teaching. And look at how big my pointer is. Have you all noticed that pointers aren't normally this big? So I'm going to go over here under accessibility, and I'm going to scroll down, and here's text and pointer. So I'm going to click on pointer, and this is the normal pointer size. See my tiny little arrow? And for a long time, people used to go, can't you make your pointer larger? I'd show them how to make it larger, but then I'd keep mine small. And then I noticed, wait, this is silly. I'm teaching. I should keep mine bigger. So I've been keeping it bigger. So how do I do that? Just there. Pointer, normal, large. Here it's huge. Here's bigger, normal, down. And this is what the normal pointer is. So go ahead and move it until you find a pointer size that you like. Now, I highly recommend not having huge pointers. Let me explain one thing about the pointer. Let me make it really large. The only sensitive point in this pointer is the tip, just the tip, not anything other than the exact tip. So if I think I'm clicking on this, right, because I want to click on it, and I click away, my mouse is on top of this entire thing, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening until I click with the tip. So if this is what I want to operate, nothing happens, nothing happens, nothing happens, nothing happens. Even there, nothing happens. Why? The tip isn't touching. That now makes it work. Does that make sense? Just the tip. So if you have it normal, basically by the time you point, you're touching, right? So it's working. When you have it kind of big, you get into this problem that people go, it's not working for me. And it's because you can cover the whole thing you're trying to touch, but if the tip isn't where it should be, it won't work. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
So make it bigger if necessary. I keep running into this problem now that I've started making it bigger, and it's only started making it bigger since last semester. I keep trying to touch stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's true, because it's so big. So I like it bigger to teach, but it's really uncomfortable for me. Make it as big as you need, but make sure that it still works, that you're like this size, it's still good enough. Like clearly I would point to it. But when it's really big, it's so easy to think that I'm pointing to it when I'm not. It's the white outline of the arrow. That is the sensitive part. Okay? All right. So has everyone been able to change it? Okay. So Sue is saying no. So let me show you where we are. Sue, did you open your system settings yet? We had talked about how to get to the learn more. Okay. So under the learn more, 1, 2, 3, fourth one, choice there's display. Click on display. And then it starts with invert colors, keep going down, 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 and here's the pointer. Pointer size, normal to large. Have you, just give me a yes if you're there or no if I need to see your screen. Like, did you find this? You need to unmute yourself. You're muted. I have no idea what you're saying. You're still muted. Unless you unmute yourself, I just see your mouse moving, your mouth moving.
Sue, your microphone is muted.
We just see your mouth moving, so I have no idea what you're saying. You need to unmute yourself. I'll wait until she unmutes herself. Anyone else have a question about the pointer size?
She says she doesn't know how, or she's mouthing that she doesn't know how.
Yeah.
Right.
So if your Zoom, you've been muting and unmuting yourself a lot, so I'm not sure which one you're using. Are you using your pad or your older computer, or are you using, let me see, where's Sue? The other one doesn't have sound, that's why. Okay, so you need to unmute yourself on this one that you're staring at. But that's the one that you don't see the Zoom tools on. You know what? Hold your space bar down. Let's see if that helps. Hold your space bar down. There, now talk. Now you're unmuted.
Okay, can I undo my,
No, if you let go, you'll be muted again. This is just a temporary one.
oh, well, my Zoom is not on my big screen where my noise is.
Yeah, because that's the idea. It's so that you are able to see your screen. So you need to go to your dock, find the little Zoom icon,
Yep,
and right click and say show all windows. And then you'll be able to see the window that has the share. But at this point, I don't necessarily need you to share. I need you to hold down the space bar and tell me what's confusing, because you got to accessibility. So I want to know now where else you are. Hold the space bar down to talk to me. I'm not hearing you. Hold the space bar down. Space bar, so that I can hear you. Okay, so you're not on your Zoom anymore. There, now I can hear you. Okay, talk. Yes.
I'm at make the pointer bigger under the increase the size of text.
Okay, yes. Have
And
you?
under that, make the pointer bigger. But when I click on that, I get no,
Okay.
I know it shows where the size slider is,
Yeah.
but it doesn't work.
You need to slide it over by clicking and dragging, or you can just click on the slider a bit further up and watch on the other one where I'm demoing it. You just click here, boom, it went all the way to large. You click here, it went smaller. Click here, it goes normal. Click here, it goes large. Or just click and drag it until you find the right spot. So you can just click on it. Is that working now?
Huh?
Is that working now?
Here it on the side of my screen.
Basically, you need to look at the size of your pointer and see if it got huge or if it's tiny. That's how you would know it's
Well,
working.
my pointer is big and I'm trying to make it smaller.
Okay, then click somewhere lower, but with the tip. See, if you put your mouse, see, that's the problem. If your mouse is really big now, your mouse or pointer is really big, when you think you should make it work by doing this, nope, not working. Why? Because the tip of my arrow isn't working. I need to point the tip of my arrow there, click, and now it'll work, and then it'll get smaller. The tip of my arrow, okay? And that's why when you have it really large, it's like, it looks like it doesn't work. That's exactly, you're demonstrating what I was saying. You have this large mouse and it feels like it's not working, and it's because you need to point the very, 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 very tip of it. So most of the arrow seems like it's not there except for the tip. Then it'll work, okay? So I don't advocate for a huge mouse. Some people have a huge mouse. When people have it huge like this, I find that they have more issues with it. I would say make it bigger, but not humongous. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. It's about as big as I can get it. Now, One more really cool tip is this one. Okay, so where it says shake mouse pointer to locate, and if you were playing around with that one to test something, I always say be careful what you turn on and off. This one's a good one to turn on and off. Leave it turned on, and then watch what I'm going to do. Have you ever not found your mouse? Have you ever been like, oh God, where's my mouse? I don't know about you guys, but I'm constantly looking at it going, where's my mouse? So watch what's going to do. I'm going to put my finger or my mouse, whichever I'm using, on my screen, and I mean on my touchpad, because and I'm going to just shake back and forth really quick and see how it suddenly appears really big in the middle. It gets into, and so even if you have your mouse down to its tiniest size, if you don't see it, just go, I'm just doing like this, gentle on my touchpad, or I'm doing like this with my mouse. I'm just shaking it. And suddenly it gets really, I keep shaking, and there it is. Finally, it's like, oh, there it was. So it gets really big, see? And then when I stop shaking, it gets small. So it's like, here I am, and then it gets small, okay? So that's the point of that one being on, but it needs to be turned on. If it's turned off, I can shake all I want, and I might still not see it. So you have this one on, and then shake it, and it'll get huge, and it'll be like, oh, okay, thank you. And then it goes back down to whatever size you chose for it, okay? If everyone has been able to change the size of their pointer, even if you chose not to change it, but you're able to change it and chose to have it small, and if you're able to shake to find it, then let me know. Okay, now here comes the text size. Okay, so right above it, you have text size. And you can set your preferred reading size for supported apps and system features. So be careful, not all apps will respond to this, okay? So for the apps that respond to this, I'm going to click on that. And then I can choose, and for people who have older systems, you might be able to choose only one size total. But for the newer systems, you can choose for which app. So for the Books app, I could choose to have it much bigger. And someone asked me about the Books app the other day, I think Patricia, whatever. For the calendar. So let me see. I'm going to open the calendar. I'm going to have it right next to me here. So here's my calendar. So I'm going to do this in real life. So this is my calendar. Go to my calendar, and it's on 14-point size. I could have it at 9. Look how tiny it gets. Or I could have it 42, which is kind of crazy. But I could set it at whatever I'm comfortable. The default size is 14. I'm going to leave it at that. That's my calendar. I'm going to quit my calendar with Command Q. Now the Finder, it says the Finder. What's the Finder? It's that. It's these icons. It's these things that I have right there. So if I go to the Finder and I say that I want things at the default size, that's rather small. That's my default size. And depending on your computer settings, that's rather small. So already, because it's my teaching computer, I had moved it to 16 points. But you might want to move it to 29 points. Oh, I'm just doing it to the wrong thing. I'm sorry. Here we go. Finder. I could do it to, oh, look at what it's answering. Customized in-app. So see how it got much bigger? 16 points for my Finder. Yeah, I'm going to clear your feedback. So this might be something that you'd like, because the Finder default size is kind of tiny. So the Finder 16 point, I think might be better. If you need more, I wouldn't go much further than 20 points, but you might want to do that. 20 points. You have to scroll up and down more, but you might see things better. I'm going to go back to 16 points. I find that for teaching, that's kind of big enough, but not too huge. Mail, when you're reading your mail, you might want it to be bigger, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense? So it's not every app, it's these apps, that's it. But for these apps, for your notes, for your, you know, for the news, if you use the news, for your text, this is your text, you can have them be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and When I'm done, I'll say done. If this worked, let me know, give me a yes. If you have questions or if it's not working, then yeah, go ahead, Julie, what's your question?
Yeah, I have Ventura. Is there a listing for text size on my computer? I'm not seeing it.
In your Ventura,
I'm under display.
yeah, I believe that you had to do it from the app. Let me actually see, because you know what? I don't remember right now what the there was a way in the past you couldn't do that so easy. Like in Monterey, you can't. But let me see. Ventura Mac user guide text size. How to make, oh, see, I didn't check on the Apple one.
No, see, that's,
Yeah, so yeah, so in the past you had to change your resolution. So this is new. I think it started in Sonoma. In Ventura, you had to change your resolution. And you could do that under displays. You would go to displays, and here
oh,
go
okay.
to displays. So this is just for Patricia, Julie, and Carol Gear. Everyone else don't do this. You would go to displays, and over here would have larger text, smaller text. Now you're not really changing your text when you do that. You're actually changing your whole screen resolution when you do that. But the default thing is that text is changing, but the whole screen is changing. Everything suddenly looks huger. So you might need to get accustomed to that, but that's just changing your screen resolution. As of Sonoma, I believe they found a way to do it just to the text. So that's, again, whenever you see what's the point of the things she's showing, it's when you find something that's useful enough that you think, well, I really like that one, and you jot it down and you jot it down. When you get to, there's 10 things that I truly want, then you might want to say, well, is it time to upgrade my computer versus making it, last another year. It's up to you. I always think that as long as the computer does what you want it to do and it's not crashing, that there's no need necessarily to upgrade.
Good, thank you. Mhm.
But if this is a thing that makes or breaks, again, you start making a list of what makes or breaks, right? Now, how does this work on the phone? I'm going to share with you guys because you can do that also on your phone. And let me see if that's interesting, instead of sharing my phone, let me see if I can go to the iPhone mirroring and share that. That would be fun. Okay, I'm iPhone mirroring. Oh, but because I can't use my phone to do this. My phone has to be out of use. Then I can do it. Okay, so this is my phone. I would go to settings on my phone. Everyone go grab your phone. Okay, so we're going to look at how to change the font size to make your phone bigger or smaller on your phone. And if I go again to settings, accessibility, display and text size, and I'm going to go back and show you this again.
You show the screen?
I'm sharing. You're not seeing it?
No. I just see the picture of everyone.
Okay, so I'm going to share. I'm going to stop my share and start again. Is everyone else seeing it though, or was it just my son?
You were fine before. I am now just, yeah,
Okay.
there. Thank you.
So let me go back then and share this again. So what I was doing was I was showing you my settings. Okay. So here's my
Yeah.
Apple phone settings. I went to accessibility and then display and text size. And here is where you can click larger accessibility sizes or not, and you can see how I can make things really big. Now be careful, things start not fitting into your screen, right? So that's a choice you need to make. but you can change things on your phone to make them a little bit bigger. And then when you go back, you can have bold text, see thin or skinny or bold. And I already had changed my phone to be bigger because I teach with it. You can have different button shapes or labels or things that might help, but those are the ones that help the most. Okay. Reduce white point might give things that are more contrasty, less contrasty. For the most part, I would leave things basically by default, except for your text. But like if I see increased contrast, see how suddenly everything got blacker or grayer versus this white stuff that for some people, this might be hard to see. If you do that, then it's not so hard to see. See that? Now, is that going to affect your photos as well? Of course, because you're increasing contrast on everything. So say that I'm looking at my photos on my phone for a second, right? I'm looking at, say that I'm looking at this peacock here. That's what it's look like. If I now switch for a second to my accessibility settings and suddenly I say increase contrast, and I go back here, when I go back to my photos, it knows not to mess with your photos. Okay, so my photo still looks as good as it looked before. So, you know, these are just, it knows that you're trying the things that are kind of faint like this. And then if you turn this off, it's back to that kind of light gray that it might be hard to see. Okay, so that was my request for you guys, is that you, so did everyone find, let me give a yes. If you found the accessibility to change the size of your font and everything like that on your computer, I think I'd already had you guys say yes. Now, if you found it on your phone, but if you still didn't find it on one or the other, it could be that I didn't check on you for the computer, then if you found it on your phone, please answer to that. Okay. And then start for horizontal text. That's not for us, but some people have vertical text like Japanese or something like that, and they might go, no, 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 give it to me in horizontal text, right? Well, for us, it makes no difference. We don't use that. So some things uses something works sometimes, some things are for us, sometimes they're not, et cetera, et cetera. I'm gonna back out of there.
What? Oh, reduce white point.
So some reduce white point makes the white be less bright. It's a bit more muted. Okay, so it's not so much in your face. For some people, the white is too white. Okay, so play around with these things and learn them. But I kind of worry that sometimes people change these a lot and then they wonder why didn't they don't like change it unchanged. You don't turn this on and then off. Well, this one was off by default. And then you don't know why things have switched, and be careful because when these things switch, they switch, right? Horizontal text, it won't make any difference. There's no horizontal text. Sorry, there's no vertical text in this language. But if I say increase contrast and you leave it on, then you wonder, why is my screen suddenly changed so much? It might be because of that, right? So you need to keep an eye on what you change and know to come back to it. And if you don't like it, turn it off again. Okay.
This is better, actually. I increased the contrast and it's easier to read.
Okay, exactly. So for some people, it
Yeah.
makes a difference. For some people, it doesn't. So that's all. That's why when I say accessibility, people think, oh, it's only for people who have problems. When I said if you have an issue, well, no, we have preferences too. And these are some of those preferences. Transparency is something that is hard to explain right now, but some apps have, I don't see it right now. Maybe some apps have like a transparency feature, like this white instead of being white will show you a little bit of what's underneath if you have a photo or something like that. It's not happening right now, but on some apps it happens. And if that bugs you because you just want to have it, you just say reduce transparency. So then that won't happen. Now, I'm not be able to show you what it is because I don't have anything that's got transparency right now. But there you go. Those are examples that might help Now I'm going to back out of displays and text size, and then there's other things that you might want to be able to talk about and change, and how you touch things. So be careful, right? Here's how you say what your side button's going to do. Your side button you can double click on it slowly or slower, or you can press and hold your side button to get Siri to work, or you can just talk to Siri and stuff like that. So anyway, there's all these different things you can do. So basically, listen to me, everyone look at me. The settings of anything, the system settings in this case, is how to personalize the app to work for you. So when you change settings, your phone won't immediately work like it was for everyone else if they didn't change their settings. So be aware that if you change settings, now your phone will do things the way that you just asked it to do, or your computer will do things the way you asked it to do. So then when you go to another computer or another phone, it'll be like, and so you ask for help, and they might go, why is this working this way? Oh, because you changed your settings, and this is what it means. You changed your settings. So voice control, you can basically tell your phone, this is for people who really can't use their hands. They would talk to their phone. I have a student, by the way, in my Photoshop class who's a paraplegic. He only can control things with his by speaking. And I think he might be able, he moves his hand a little bit like this for some things. He is in my Photoshop class, guys, and he's doing art because he speaks to his computer to get to his computer to do stuff. So it's amazing. It's amazing what things can be done right now. But anyway, if you don't need that at all, then you back out, right? So keep an eye on these guys, hearing devices, sound recognition. And what I want you guys to do is to maybe look some up and find some that are useful to you. Did you know that your phone can be an Apple TV remote? And you're like, well, I don't use Apple TV, then forget it. But if you use Apple TV, then yeah, you can make your phone show up as a remote, right? Stuff like that. So my goal, and now I'm going to go back to the sharing just my computer system settings this time, is for you to go to this accessibility and learn more. First, read about it. That's why I said learn more. Go to the tips and then come and play with it a little bit. Actually, I was going to share my entire screen so you could see the tips. So so here's my my tips app. I had it minimized. Here we go. And enlarge what you're viewing, the entire screen or part of it. Oh, that sounds good. Using a second display is set the zoom. And then you click on zoom in on what's on screen, and it brings you to the instructions. Now, I'm a little bit iffy about this one. Before we could change the text size, we used this one. And it sounds great, but it can get kind of confusing. So if I click on zoom and I use this to turn it on, for example, double tap 3 fingers to toggle the zoom. So I'm going to turn this on, right? And if I want to zoom something, I'm going to tap 3 fingers. See how everything got huge? And then I have to tap 3 fingers to go down. You see that? Tap 3 fingers. And you might love that, but the tap 3 fingers isn't, I think, that useful. Many people tapping 3 fingers doesn't necessarily work well. I prefer, now that we can, change the font size, but for people in Ventura or Monterey, this might be a good solution. If now and then you really can't see something, tap 3 fingers, tap 3 fingers. So when do I like that? I kind of like that in the Maps app. So have you ever tried to see your Maps app and discovered that it's hard to read this? And if I tap 3 fingers, it gets bigger and smaller. So the Maps app, no matter that I zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, the names of the streets still says tiny. It doesn't change. So if I tap 3 fingers, it gets bigger and it gets smaller. So it's got some uses, but I don't want that on all the time just for that use. Okay. Now, so that's just an example of what you can do. But for some of you guys, especially I said Ventura and Monterey, you might like that, or you might want shortcuts to zoom in or out and stuff like that. I'm going to back out, and since I said that, in the display, in the text size, I wonder if the maps, no, see, the maps, you can't change the text size. I don't know why they make it that no matter how big you make the map, you zoom in, you zoom in, you zoom in, but and same with Google Maps and Apple Maps, the size of the street just stays the same, which is very tiny. And I don't think in the map settings there's anything. Let me see, use large labels. Oh, look at that. I found it. Oh. Oh, just telling you that it wasn't there. I found it. You can go to the map setting. Anyway, for those of you who are understand what I'm doing, I'm turning on the settings of just this app, and you can turn this on bigger. But that would be great if we could do it on the phone too. I'm going to look into that. But okay, so now you can make each one of your apps work better. So if the system settings doesn't have it, then the app setting will have it. So let me walk you through this one. Does that, if you look down at your dock, do you see the maps? And if you don't see the maps, I'm going to show you how to open it. So I'm going to clear your answers. If you see the maps, please just open it. If you don't see the maps, then how would you open it? You would open it by going, and you guys tell me, how would I open an app if I don't see it on my docs?
Go to Finder. No.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And then go to applications.
Applications.
And then
scroll to the M. There it is, maps.
okay.
Yay, Georgia. First time student, okay? And she's like, she got it. All right, guys. I just showed you a few times that if you need an application that's not on the dock, you go to the Finder window. But then when put to the test, that's what you need to remember. Oh, any application I want, it's in the Finder window. But let me actually show you another way, which you might like better. I don't particularly like it better, but some people like it better. They prefer not, they don't know how to use the Finder. So you can also use the Spotlight feature. And the Spotlight feature is this top right of my entire screen on the menu bar. There's a search bar. You see that one? There's a little magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Are you sharing your screen?
Yeah, but in case you don't see it, I'm going to start my share again. Whenever you don't see it, ask me, because if someone asks that, it's because on their screen it disappeared. It's so easy for me to start and stop again, and it'll show up again for that person for whom it's not showing anymore. So we're going to go to the search, which is called Spotlight. For some reason, it's got a name. It's an app called Spotlight. And the Spotlight search opens up in the middle. And I'm going to type maps. And the Maps app appears, and I can just click on that one right there, and it opens up. Okay. Now, I prefer not to have to trust that I remember what to tell the Spotlight to search for. I prefer going to the Finder window, applications, double clicking on maps. Or if I use maps a lot, then to just have it on my dock. Yes, Julie? Now give me a yes if you opened your maps. Everyone open your maps and then give me a yes. Yes, Julie?
How come when I open my maps, it shows me Salinas, Monterey? I don't need that.
Okay, you must have location services turned off for your computer, for your maps. So,
mine shows hikes, which I don't want.
Okay, so up here,
yeah,
there's different choices of what you're looking at, and you can look over here and show you different things, right? And you could
point under the pointer. Oh, it's and mine says locations set services off.
Okay, so when you have location services off, then you need to go to the maps. If you're in the maps and you go to the Apple, you'll see the word maps next to it. Okay, so always remember, if this is your main app, if you go to the Apple, the word of the name of that app should be right next to the Apple. Remember that? And under the name of your app, you will always find first the about and then the settings. So this is maps settings, maps settings. And over here, you can tell it certain things, but if you want to get locations to change, like Julie and Georgia, you need to go to your system settings and you need to go to privacy and security. And at the top, location services. And we're going to talk, this is one of the things I was going to talk to everyone about. But by the way, a lot of this is stuff that I also go over in Mac Level 2. It's about the apps that come with the computer. And this is an example. But right now I'm using it to show accessibility features, but we're going to go over the location services. But right now, if you go into your systems, settings, privacy and security, at the top, it says location services. And when you click on that, you tell it which app you want to have location services turned on. First of all, you might have turned everything off, like your computer doesn't have location services. If so, turn it on. And then you don't need the entire work, all your apps. Do you need, you know, the news to know where you live? Well, if you want localized news, say that you live in Europe, you don't want news about California, you turn this on, then you'll see European news. But other than that, if you don't need to, you just want to see general news, you leave it off, right? So under maps, you want to have the location services on or off. You want to have it on. Does that make sense?
So
If I
maps.
don't have it on, I just turned it off. If I go to maps right now and I don't have it on, you know, they might not know where I am. But if I have it off, they will know where I am. Okay. And since I don't want my home recorded on the computer, I just turned mine off for a little bit, but that's how you would change that. So did everyone find how to add or take away location services? All right. Some of this is a little bit more advanced. For those of you who are new to this, I will go over all of this in Mac Level 2. So that means a few weeks from now when you have more comfort with your computer, okay? So don't worry about it. But since I brought up the Maps app and two people said that they weren't showing, you know, Santa Barbara and their houses, I showed them that what's probably turned off is I'm always at the system settings. Sue, again, before we were at the system settings accessibility. And I know that you had made it all the way to display because we talked about the size of the mouse. On the left side of your system settings, go down to privacy and security. So everyone go to privacy and security. And under privacy and security, you could tell your computer if you want all these different services to know where you live. So you click on this. And it turns out that I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. Like if I check weather, it knows that I'm in Santa Barbara and tell me the weather of Santa Barbara. If I have this turned off and I check weather, then it'll ask me and you'll have to type Santa Barbara and then it'll give you the weather of Santa Barbara. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I don't have a long list under location services. I just have
Is your location services turned off? You won't have a long list.
Oh, well, it was turned off. Oh, okay. Now I just clicked it and it's asking me to sign in.
Yeah.
So
It's going to make sure that you are you and not your grandchild, your 3-year-old grandchild that's just tapping away at your keys. Okay. So that you can sign in because these are big changes, right? To have the know where you are or not. Once you sign in, then by default, I think it'll have them all turned on and then you can start turning them off. Right now, you might not really know why. And I do go over this in Mac Level 2 is working on location services, but basically read them and go, sure, I do or not want my calendar to know where I am. And I'm going to show you why that works once we get to explain the calendar. You basically say, I'm going to have lunch at Brophy Brothers, and in the calendar, if you have location services turned on, it puts a little map of how far and how long and where Brophy Brothers is. Does that make sense? If you
Mhm.
don't have this on, it doesn't know if you're in China or if you're in Santa Barbara. So when you write Brophy Brothers, it looks for Brophy Brothers around the entire world, and it might find the Santa Barbara one or it might not, right? So that's an example of why you might want some things to know where you are or not. Okay. So right now, all I'm doing is I'm showing you guys that you can turn in the map settings. You can choose to use large labels or small. You can have it show um,
So do I just turn off location
Weather
services or
I,
just,
I would recommend having it turned on the apps that make sense.
yes.
On the apps that don't make sense, no, that's
And
just
we
me.
go back to accessibility.
But some people say, oh, I don't want my computer to know where I am. I just assure you, go Google your name, go Google yourself, and you'll find out that anyone can Google and find your address. There's no way to hide anymore where anyone lives unless you have, I don't know. If you are Taylor Swift, she probably has a way to hide where she lives, but the rest of us, anyone can find where we live.
So we're here, so I'm here in maps and it now knows where oh, okay, good. It just popped up to where I am.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So if you click on show your current location, it'll go there. And
Yeah.
if you click on what kind of map you want, but I wasn't today trying to teach you how to use this, but since I'm here, I will. If you say driving, it'll show you, looks like all our freeways are pretty good condition. No, there's a little bit of yellow on this piece of that one. That means it's a little bit slower. Looks like it shows in here the road closure, et cetera, et cetera. So it kind of shows you that kind of stuff. If you click on transit, it's showing me Amtrak and bus stations and stuff like that, Santa Barbara Transit Center. If you click on satellite, it'll show you a satellite image of all our hills, and when you're biking and you're making a route, you would want to see it this way to know if you want to go and exercise those hills or if you want to avoid them and go on a flat area, for example. Anyway, and then if you want a 3D, it shows it to you in 3D, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to go back to the default, which I believe is Explore, which shows you a little bit of everything. And yeah.
And that's the little folded map.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Explore. Okay.
So all I was trying to show you, other than teaching you how to use maps, is I was trying to show you how to go to the maps settings.
Right.
Because then there's more things that you choose based on your choice. So here it says, always show weather conditions and air quality index. Where do I see it? Down here. Where's my
Wait a minute.
it?
Map settings. Okay. All right.
So here it is. It's showing me the weather, 76 degrees, and the air condition or air quality is 28. It's good. But if I don't want to see those and I turn these off, then there's no info there, right? So you get to choose, show me the compass, not show me the contrast, zoom control. So there's not many choices here, but it is route planner. You can tell it what kind of route to get, et cetera, et cetera. So if you walk everywhere always, then every time you want to see how to get somewhere, or you bicycle, you would want it to show you better cycling modes. But if you're driving, then you want to see driving modes. And so you can search how to get somewhere from place to place. Now, everything I'm showing you on the computer, a lot of people have already used on their phones. How many of you have used the maps on your phones? Let me clear your feedback. Because most people have their phones on them when they go, how do I get from here to there? Have you ever done that?
Yes.
Yeah. So most people don't know that you have the same feature here and they're the maps. And in fact, by default, it comes in your dock. So check and see if your dock didn't have this and you didn't know. Or if you want it now, you can put it in there. So you can plan your whole trip to somewhere from here. You can click over here and you can say, I want to go to, and say that it's a place that's well known. Say you want to go to Target, right? Then it shows you all the different Targets and how far they are away from you, and then they'll show you how to get there. All right, and so it'll show you, oh, I guess there's this Target. That's the one that appears, that's nearest to me. If I want directions, it's going to tell me how long it'll take for me to get there. So I'm going to say, sure, give me directions to Target. But most importantly, on the maps, I find that it's really cool because I can actually also call them from here. I can find out about them. I can see when they're open. I can call and see if they have something. I can go to their website, right? So the map isn't just for knowing how to get there. Maybe we all know how to get there, but if you just wanted to know when they're open, you can do that. Maybe you want to know, I don't know, the Sea Center. When does the Sea Center, Taiwan or Sea Center? And you want to see it. And then you go, what's the schedule for the Sea Center? Oh, look at that, 10 to 5. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll go there when my granddaughter visits. Does that make sense? Or where is it? Or how can I get there? So it's not just for knowing how to get to places that we know how to get, but also how to get to their website, how to contact them, how to, you know, maybe you want to know, become a member or something like that. So you want to know more about it. So then you can click on that and you can go to their website. Here it is. Click on SantaBarbaraNature.org. Guess what? My Safari opens up and now I'm at their website and I can see if I can buy tickets or what stuff works. And by the way, my son is here somewhere because he works at the Sea Center. He's in one of these photos he told me yesterday. Anyway, cool. So how interconnected all these apps are, right? Okay. But the most important thing I was trying to show you right now, because the apps class is in the future, is that every app has settings. So I'm going to quit the maps and I'm going to show you that if I have Safari open, Safari has settings. I'm going to quit Safari. Anything you have open has settings. And in fact, the Finder has settings, and that's the system settings. The computer has settings, and it's a system settings, and the Finder has its own settings as well. And this is the one that I want to show you now. Okay, so close everything else that you have open, close everything else. So remember, the homework was explore using maybe the Mac User Guide, learn how to get to the Mac User Guide. The app is called Tips for those of you who have the app, or you can go to any of the Learn More links and it gets you there. And I want you to explore more of the accessibility settings on your own by reading about them, finding out if any of these sound like something that you might want to use. And for homework, I'd like you guys by Thursday to have one accessibility setting that you chose, something to say about it. The other day I was subbing for someone and they told me that what they do at the beginning of the class is they have, I think they called it pearls of wisdom. Has anyone taken a class with Esther Frankel? Anyway, she has everyone find a pearl of wisdom for the next class. And at the beginning of the class, everyone has to report on pearls of wisdom. And when she says everyone, she means everyone. I like that idea because at the beginning of the class, everyone said something that they had found out. I'm not sure if I would have it right now. I would call them golden nuggets for some reason. I like the golden nuggets better, but I don't know why it comes to my brain. But I'm gonna kind of adopt this, and I'm gonna have everyone give me one little golden nugget specifically about the accessibility settings on your computer or on your phone. And by Thursday, that kind of means that you will have to know how to find out about the accessibility settings. You can also just go to Google and type accessibility settings Mac, and read from there if you forget how to get to the tips. But if you remember that the tips app is the Mac user guide and it does some other stuff, then you can go there. Okay? So everyone got what the homework is? Give me a yes. I do want to say that I'm not going to kick you out of the class if you don't do your homework, and that next class is not even part of this one. Next class is part of Mac level 1, but most of you guys, and just now Kate asked for the Mac level 1 thing, but 99% of you guys are the same people. No. Yeah, I was going to say 90%, 99% of you guys are the same people. So, so this is a continuation, okay? If there's anyone new, I'll explain where this came from. And here we go, 80515. So Kate, here's your answer. Mac level 1 is 80515. Just put it in the chat. Mac level 2 is 80514, which is kind of counterintuitive, but yeah, the higher one, the lower one. So sign up for both of those. And there's still a few spots. I see that there's 20, so you can go up to 24, and there's 21, up to 24. So you'll be fine. You don't need my permission. If for any reason it says closed, that means that we've reached 24, then I need to sign a form for you. But anyway, let me know, email me. But there's still space on both, okay? So you can all still sign up for that class, and then you will get my email, which I will send today, reminding everyone, hey, Mac level 1 is starting. And then on the morning of Thursday, you will have a new link only if you signed up for the class, okay? Because it's not the same link.
Diana, I wanted to point out, and I was a minute or two late today, but that today is the day that registration for the next term begins.
Yeah, and Julie said she was trying to do it and that it was a mess. So thank you for the reminder, Georgia.
Mine was a little screwy, but I was able to get in there.
You were able- yeah.
I don't know the numbers. I'd like to take the Living the iLife class, and I don't know what number it is.
Well, I can tell you it is very full though, which means you need to send me an email. I will send you a form that's signed so you can then sign up with the form. You can't sign up directly. If you try to sign up to this one, it is 81. Here you go. iLife is 81442. But if you just try to sign up for it, it'll say you can't because it's closed. So you need to send a form with my signature and have them sign you up.
Well,
Okay.
Is that for the fall or now?
It's the one
For the fall. Oh, sorry. Of course, for the fall. The fall credit select. Fall non-credit select. And then I'm going to go down here to Musakyo. Thank you for clarifying. And here's my Living the iLife.
We can't see your screen.
Oh, did I stop my share? I'm sorry. Whenever I do these searches, I try to show them so people know how to get here, but it's for the fall.
Yes.
Living the iLife. CRN is 45578. I just put it in the chat.
Great, thank you.
And then for those of you who think, oh, I've already done Intro to the Mac, I don't need it anymore, be aware each time I teach differently or different things, that there's so much to teach. So many times people do keep taking these here and there. They repeat one or they repeat the other or they repeat all three, because there's always something new to learn. But remember, the iLife is online, so there's only one code for it, but the Intro to the Mac level 1 and 2 are HyFlex. That means that you can either take them in person, Wake Center, you sign up for that number, or online, you sign up for that number. Even though later you can choose to be online or in person, you have to sign up to a couple of different ones. It looks like someone already signed up for Intro to the Mac. Look at that, how cool. And no
And
one signed up for any of the others. Oh, 2
And
people.
that's an afternoon, Monday and Wednesday.
Monday, Wednesday from 1 to 4:15. And iLife is Monday, Wednesday, 1 to 4:45. But it happens later in November versus these all start. So first we do Mac intro, then we do October Narrow. But since it's that way, I assure you that after the first or second classes, there will be no more space in iLife. It always fills up. So if you want to take it in the fall and you want to be in on it, that's one that does get full. Once I start teaching the Mac classes, everyone runs to sign up for it, and then it's too full to take. Okay. And then I will be teaching Introduction to Handheld Devices. This is one that Norma used to teach. And there was iTouch, iPad, smartphones, ebooks, things like that. But she taught it, and this is at the Wake Center. And so I'm going to see how to handle that because she taught it in person, and I want to be able to do it HyFlex. But I'm not sure if actually, it's probably not a good one to do HyFlex because if people have their iPods and stuff at home, I don't know. I'm gonna figure out how to do that. But it also includes Mac PC. So it also includes Androids and stuff like that. Now I have an Android that's old, but I don't have anything that's like, well, I have Kindles and stuff like that. So I'm gonna bring those. Anyway, so the thing is, it covers so much, right? That it's not necessarily in depth of each one. So it's not like I'll sit there and totally teach everything about your phone. There's no way, right? You're learning more here than you will learn in that one, but it is a good one to get a general idea of all your devices. Okay. So I'm still working on it because I have not taught it before. And it's only 10 hours, so it goes pretty quickly. All right. It's just two weeks, Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday. That's it. So consider that one. And we'll talk about cables and all of that, the kind of stuff that I was talking about today. All right. So I'm gonna stop my share and continue going. So all apps, no matter which app you're in, and now, oh, I stopped my share, didn't I? I'm gonna share again. So I just opened my calendar, right? And if I'm in my calendar, I go to the word calendar and there's settings for the calendar. Okay. So then I change how I want the calendar to look. And again, I will be doing this in Mac level 1, in Mac level 2, but I'm just showing you that no matter what app you open, under its name, you have settings for that app. So I'm going to do reminder settings, and here's reminder settings. So what I want us to do right now is the Finder settings. Okay, so close all your other apps. Thank you. That's my reminder that we have 15 more minutes before the end of class. So click on Finder. Make sure that what you see there is the word Finder next to your Apple. Okay, and we're going to go to Finder settings. And we're going to open the Finder settings. And you should be under General. If I left you in something else in the past, then that's good. But other than that, you should be in the Finder settings. Once you have the Finder settings open, give me a yes. I'm going to make sure that everyone can find it. Okay. All right. So Finder settings. What this is telling me is, what do I want to see in this Finder window? How do I want this Finder window to operate? And I'm going to move it so that it's side to side. And remember that we already changed this Finder window to add these two bars here. Oh, I didn't show you the second one. That was the path bar. The second one tells you that's the status bar. So if I'm selecting applications, for example, it's telling me that I have one of 86 selected. So that means I have 86 applications installed on this computer. And it tells me how many gigs of space are left in my computer. So that's all that the status bar does. Now it helps sometimes to know how many of something we have, but it's less important. The one that really matters is the path bar. Okay, so that we've already modified. Another thing that we modified last class, and in case someone missed it, was to see the name under these icons. And how I did that, I right-clicked, and by default, it's icons only. If you want to see the name of what these icons are, you would right-click and say icon and text, right? So these are modifications that we're doing already to our path bar, to our Finder window. Now over here, there's some other settings that we can change. I'm going to go ahead and share only these two windows so that it's not so distracting to see everything. So here we go. Now I have only these two windows. Now, under general, it's asking me, what do I want to see on the desktop? And in fact, I just stopped showing the desktop. I'm going to share again the entire window. Sorry, I had just stopped. So here's what it means. Do I want to see the hard disk? What does the hard disk mean? This thing that says Macintosh hard drive, right there, that's my computer's hard disk. People who have been having Macs for basically since they began to exist, this icon has always been on the desktop. Now you have a choice whether to see it or not. If I turn this off or turn it on, I would be able to, okay, this is my computer is kind of, since it's a school computer, they've sealed it and there's things I can't do. And it looks like it's not letting me disconnect that, but you should be able to, right? To turn this on and off.
Is that because there's no real reason for most of us to
No, well, some people have said, where did it go? And I'm showing you how to turn it on. But if you never missed it and you didn't want it on, you don't really need it on anymore. You can turn it off. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Most of the time, people who suddenly upgrade, they go, it disappeared. Where is it? Because in the long past, that's the only way you had to open up your Finder window. You would double click on one of these and then you would open a Finder window. Now you don't really need it anymore, but for a lot of people, it feels like something's missing. You would turn it on and off. Now, I will leave this as default. New Finder window shows recents because that's what everyone who takes this class, when you open a new Finder window, it shows recents. You see that? But for those of you who've taken this for a while, and if you don't use your recents, if you want to go straight to, say, your documents, you can change it to show you your documents. So now, when I open my Finder window, it's set to documents. You see that?
Yeah.
It's a choice. I'm going to set it back to recents because that's basically the default setting, but you could have it showing you other things. Okay. So now it's going to go back to recents. I personally don't use the recents ever at all, but I understand that because it never existed and I've been using this computer for eons, and that's one that I never got the point because I always know exactly where I put my stuff, so I don't need to go here. Does that make sense? But that doesn't mean that a lot of you didn't think this was the best thing since sliced bread, and now you don't need to find your stuff anymore. You'll just come to recents, and you'll always want it to default to recents. So your choice. Okay? Yes, Julie?
What does connected servers mean? Mine is off. Should I put it on?
No, I'm connected to that because of the school system. I have a system here that connects me to the school, but unless you're in a business situation where you have servers that you have to set yourself for, you wouldn't need that. So
Okay,
I would
thank
say
you.
that no one in this room needs it other than me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And what about CDs, DVDs, and iPods? What does that mean?
Yeah, so remember when we used to put a CD in the computer and a DVD in the computer and an iPod in the computer? Remember that iPods even existed? Yeah.
Yep.
So it would be that you would put in a CD and you'd see it pop up here
I
and
see.
click on it, but no one has them anymore now. If you have one of those people who have a computer that still does have that on, you can turn that on and then you would see them when you pop them in. But if you have any of the Macs that you guys have been telling me, there's no CD player in it. Now I do still have, believe it or not, a little CD player that I can, DVD player that I can plug in to my computers, But it's been eons since I've used it because no one needs to anymore. But if you guys are still using CDs or DVDs for anything, the other day I went, not the other day, but about 2 years ago, so not too long ago, I went to pick up some medical records from Sansum that I had a kid living with me who hurt her knee. She needed to send it back to Italy. And they delivered us a DVD, a CD with the photos. And I was so surprised. It's like, oh, people still do that. So I don't know if they still do that right now, but that's what they delivered us, yeah, 2 years ago. In which case I had to turn on my DVD, plug it in, send the photos to her parents about what she had done to her knee or her ankle or something.
Wow.
Right. So it's now and then it might be good for something at this point still. Okay.
My grandson is in high school, and he's doing some graphics work, and he connects to the high school thing for Adobe.
Yeah,
classes.
exactly.
So would connected servers be useful? Just
No.
doesn't matter.
No, it has to be in the same building. No, I mean,
Okay.
unless you have, yeah, but no, it's different. Don't worry. It's similar, but not, like
Okay.
for here, people who do Adobe and all that, they go and they connect through VDI, but yeah, you wouldn't. Mm-mm. All right. Then we have a couple of others here that I'm going to show you, but let's head over to the sidebar. This is the one that's the most important one, and also because we're running out of time. So I want to show you this one, sidebar. Okay, so these are different things that you can change. Okay, we're going to go to sidebar. And in the sidebar, and this is important, and we're going to, again, on Thursday, know much more about what we see or not see. I want to show you, okay, so look at my screen, look at my Finder window here. And it's telling me that if I don't want to see AirDrop, see how AirDrop is not there anymore. If I do want to see it, I turn it on, it popped in, although it popped in at the bottom. I'm going to move it up to the top again, right? So I know, it's my reminder. So you can say what you want to see under favorites. So on my favorites, I could choose to see pictures or not see pictures, music or not see music, movies or not see movies. Now, some of you guys use these folders for your stuff, which you shouldn't. Thus, you want to see them. But if you continue taking these classes, you will learn that the safest and best way to use your computer is to have movies, music, and pictures turned off. Unless you know that you have a lot of your pictures there. And that does not mean the Photos app. We're going to talk about that. The Photos app that holds all my pictures right now is not going to be affected by this. And by the way, this doesn't mean that the pictures folder disappears and you lose your photos. It just means that you don't have a quick little screen shortcut to it here on the side of your Finder window. Does that make sense? So there's more harm than good comes out of having these turned on right now. So if you don't have them turned on, don't turn them on. If you do have them turned on, consider turning them off, unless if you turn on pictures, you click on pictures and you see a ton of stuff here. I have stuff here because I'm going to teach you how to take things off next week, but you shouldn't. You should only have something called Photos Library. So you don't want to throw that away, or you're throwing 10,000 or 100,000 photos away, whatever you have. So it's better to turn it off. Why? To protect those 100,000 photos. Because if you have it on, you can get to it. And if you get to it, you might mess up the 100,000 photos with that one file. Does that make sense? Same with movies and music. With one file, you can lose all your music, you can lose all your pictures. So by having it turned off, you don't have access to it. The day you want access to it for some reason, because you come much better at computers and you don't worry, then you might want to turn it on, but there's no need ever, because now pictures shouldn't be put in pictures anymore, other than in your Photos app. And that's what you're going to learn next week. Okay. So on and so forth. Here's where you can turn things on and off. So over here is a similar So over here in general, it said connected servers. Well, look in the sidebar, there's connected servers. You see that? So
Yeah.
you could turn that on off. But the one that matters here, it says CDs, DVDs, and iOS devices. See how over here it said CDs, DVDs, and iPods?
Yeah.
It's inherited from eons ago. If you go to the sidebar, it's much more interesting because it says CDs, DVDs, and iOS devices. So what does that mean? That if you plug in your phone, or iPods or iPads or that kind of things, you should be able to click on them here in the iOS device. And yes, if I look over here, this is my phone is plugged into my computer right now, and I can click on it and I can see my phone connected. Now, there's certain things I can do. There's literally zero I ever do on this anymore, so I'm not sure that it's useful at all, but I'm just showing you. And if I don't want to see it, I would just turn this off. And there we go, I don't see it. But if I want to see it again, I turn it off. So this is showing you what you would see here. Does that make sense? So
What do the Bonjour computers and connected servers mean?
that's all, again, servers that those are things that have to do with connections among, like in businesses where they have people don't work off of their computers, they connect to a server that has all the business files. So it's all stuff that no one in this class has any need for.
What about Bonjour computers?
What's that? Both of them,
Oh, both of them. Okay.
either one. Okay. So yeah, so this we will learn what AirDrop is, what these things are, but just turn these off right now, and that's the best setting. And then one more setting is important here in advanced. I want to make sure that everyone has show all file name extensions turned on. So if I go to recents, I should see that this file is a .png. If I turn this off, I do not see, and I don't know if I turn it off why it's still showing it to me. Maybe it needs to be reset, but some people have it that they don't see the extensions. The extensions are these three little dots, .xls, .png, whatever. I want to show those, and some of them don't show themselves, so I want to see them. So that is important. We're going to be figuring out how to put our files where they are. We need to know what kind of file they are. This tells me that this is a photo, that this is a screen, that this is a Excel document, that this is a PDF, and I know what to do with them based on what they are. Okay, and this is important, so I want everyone to have this one turned on. Okay.
And
Um,
the one for remove items from trash after 30 days, I thought I used to have that on, but somehow it's off.
well, maybe, and it's the end of the class time. So, and I try not to teach new things, but let me just show you. This one is the one she's talking about. We're going to talk about our trash next class. We're going to start talking about it.
Okay.
If you want it to automatically, not to empty out every 30 days, rather, if an item has been there for 30 days, by the 31st day, it disappears. If it's been in the trash, but then the things that have only been there for a week stay there until they end up being there for 30 days, then it disappears. So it's not like suddenly you have every 30 days an empty trash. It's more like when things have been there since the day you put them in for 30 days, that one thing disappears and so on. So it's a gradual cleaning.
Oh,
If you like that, then leave it on. We're going to talk more about it, but that's what
Okay.
it is. So it's not like once a month, boom, you got to clean trash. Rather, it's constantly taking away anything that's been there sitting for 30 days. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
What that feature is.
Diana, my
Hey, hold on, Georgia. Just so you know, only because it's a minute after class, if you guys are done and you need to go, class is officially over. Not only class, but the entire Intro to the Mac class is over. Thursday, we meet only if you're in Mac level 1. And I just wanted to say goodbye. If I look at the roster and everyone is repeats, we will all start at 1:30. Read my email. But if in the roster I find that there's enough people that are totally new, then read my email. I might ask you guys to pop in 15 minutes later or half an hour later so that I can help the first group. Now, if you're kind of new and you still have issues of Zoom and sharing and whatnot, then you come in at that beginning time, like how to get to class files and that. Come in at that beginning time where I just talk to the new people or people who need that kind of help from me. And then everyone can join in half an hour. I'll send you an email. So read the email. It'll depend on who's on the roster. Okay. If I see no new names, then we can all start at 1:30. So keep an eye on what's happening with that. All right. So if you need to go, please go. Other than that, I'll hang in for a couple of questions. So yes, Georgia.
I was in the Finder settings that we just looked at the very bottom of the thing, it says when performing a search. You have yours on search this Mac.
Yeah.
And mine seems to be set on search the current folder.
All right. So that is a feature that in the Finder, like if I don't know where things are
Right.
at all, then if I'm in the documents folder and I don't know where something is and I say search the current folder, then it might not find it. Versus if I say search this Mac, it will search any folder. Okay. So I'll teach you later how to use a search to bring it down to just one folder, but I think this is better. The only times I use it is when I really don't know where things are. So then I would prefer a search this Mac. Does that make sense? Other than that, I'll know where to go find it.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Diana,
I don't think anyone's ever asked me that, so that's a great idea. Yes?
I just noticed that you're living the iLife in the 4th section is in the WEC Center. Can we do that online as well?
Living the iLife?
Uh-huh.
No, it's only online. That must be a mistake. That's an only online class. How weird.
That's why I'm wondering.
Oh my God. Wake Center. What the? Thank you so much for pointing that out. No, that one is always online.
Online.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So I don't have to worry about that.
No, thank you. Thank you. I'm going
Okay.
to tell them to fix that. In fact, that one has never been in person ever. That one is only people's personal photos and people don't have their photos in at school. I mean, it was before the pandemic in school, but now I only teach that one online. Living the iLife, and I hope they can change that soon because that means they need to put in another. That means I need to put another sign up to this one anyway, right?
The code will be changed.
No, they're gonna add another one and it'll be like this, that it has 2 codes. They have to add the one because I'll do it high. That's not true. I was thinking I wanted to do it only in. I wanted to
Online.
do it only. So you know what? If you sign up for it anyway, I don't know how they'll change it, either location only or if they need to give you a new code. We'll find out.
Okay.
I'm gonna write about that one right now because I don't want that one to be messed up. Maybe I can try to do it in HyFlex mode. The problem with HyFlex mode is that if people come with their don't bring their computers, it's harder. I guess they can. I guess I'll ask them to add online and I'll just do it for the first time in HyFlex mode because I can do that. Okay. All right.
Thank you
so much, Mason, for pointing that out. I would have never noticed that. All right. And then it would have been a mess in the moment. Now we still have time. So thank you.
Okay.
All right, guys. I guess at this point, I will be, since
Thank
no other
you.
questions, I'll see you on Thursday.
Great.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.